Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And it's good to be back doing the State of the Saints podcast. Haven't done a show in a few days. Some of you probably already know I was recovering from testing positive for COVID. Me along with my wife and my son. We've been at home for almost a week, and we're finally turning the corner, finally starting to feel a little bit better. And thank everybody for their thoughts and prayers and well wishes. We're doing fine, and we're just excited, man. Excited to finally be able to get out the house and get back to life, normalcy. But appreciate you all for being here, man. There's been a whole lot of stories been going on with the New Orleans Saints. I don't know where to start, man. I mean, it seems like I haven't done a show live in about 4 days now, and a lot of things have happened. And shouts out to everybody that has continued to put out great content covering the New Orleans Saints team. And I've been checking out some of the YouTube videos, as well as some of the articles that were written about the New Orleans Saints, just to being up to speed. Man, it's been crazy, man. It's so crazy. Somebody, y'all may not believe this, man, but I mean, I didn't even realize tomorrow was my birthday. So I was I woke up this morning, and I was going the whole entire day thinking today was the 6th. And my wife was like, no, it's the 7th. And I'm like, man, my birthday is tomorrow. But I don't know, man. I'm not a real big birthday person, so I really think about it, but I mean, it's crazy, man. But I'm happy that I got a lot to talk about. We can talk about Michael Thomas, the way that he has emerged as being that top receiver once again. I think that Michael Thomas, if you've been following the Saints practice, I think he's really just answering a lot of questions out there. Some people asking about, Michael Thomas, what type of receiver would he be? Will he be the same receiver he once was? Michael Thomas looks explosive. Everybody's saying that Michael Thomas looks like his unstoppable self, and I think that he ran the one-on-ones a couple of days ago to prove a point, because it was practice after practice. Every single Saints fan, Saints reporter, or onlooker were talking about the way that Paulson Adebo was playing the cornerback position. I mean, Paulson Adebo was shutting down most of the wide receiver group, and Michael Thomas just came up in there and just said, okay, man, let me take a shot at him. And I don't think it was a surprise that it was Paulson Adebo, probably worst practice he had this training camp. Paulson Adebo has taken really big steps, to become a top cornerback on his team, and he has proven that he belongs in that conversation. But Michael Thomas just shows you that he's in a league all by himself. This is something that we have wanted to see as Saints fans. This is something that we envisioned when we started to see some of these names like the Michael Thomas and the Chris Olaves and the Jarvis Landrys come together. It's starting to come together in a way that we all envisioned it. For the last couple of weeks, or I say the first week, the defense was getting the best of the offense. And now you see the offense starting to come along, including Jameis Winston's last practice when he was a part of 11 plays. He had 6 completions and no interceptions. So you're starting to see the offense starting to take on a life of its own, and it's a good thing. It's no knock on the defense at all, because we all know that the Saints defense is the catalyst of this team, and we were waiting for the offense to catch up with the defense. So now that the offense is starting to make plays over the defense, I think that is a really good look, because you're not going to see as many defenses as good as the one that they play in practice. So to have this offense up to speed, watching guys like Chris Olave, being able to win those one-on-one matchups that went from Paulson Adebo getting the best of him to him stepping up and being that wide receiver that we know he can be. Looking for the downfield threats like the Deontay Harrises. Looking at, Chris Olave. Looking at these guys catch the ball downfield. We're starting to see this offense come together. And we're also starting to see the running game get together. Tony Jones Jr. has had a couple really good practices. We see, guys like Mark Ingram, having good practices, and Alvin Kamara continuing to do his thing. So the offense is really starting to come together for the New Orleans Saints, and the defense is really stepping up, forcing turnovers, forcing interceptions. That's exactly what we want to see. But I want to go ahead and stop right there, and I'm going to read some of your comments. And I apologize, folks. I still got a little bit of a cough, but I hope that everybody bear with me. And in the meantime, if you go ahead and hit the like button, I really appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with Jerry. He said, "Trust me, after 30, you forget how old you are." Yeah. I mean, look, I just never really been a real big birthday individual. Like I never have. I don't really look at. I mean, I don't look at birthdays like everybody else do. I'm happy to have one, of course, but I just never really been big on that. Celebration of me. Like I don't know. Just never really been that type of person. Gonna scroll down. Says, I know, right? Say, happy birthday, fam. Your content is a gift for all of us all year long. Well, I appreciate that, Eugene. I appreciate that. Drink some of this salsa water. Let's see. Jared says Michael Thomas mean business. This is his comeback season. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that this is his comeback season. I think that a lot of people are going to see this guy step up and make plays. I think you're going to see Michael Thomas. I think you're going to see Michael Thomas, man, play one of his best seasons as a Saint, and that's saying a lot. I mean, sometimes, I understand that his best season is like 149 receptions, 1,700 yards, but that doesn't always mean that you can't have a better outstanding season than that. I mean, it can come in a way of how you contribute to the team. But I think he may get more touchdowns than he normally would. Like normally he averages about 9. I mean, the most I think he ever averaged like 9 touchdowns a season. I think he might break like 10 or 11. I think he might do something like that. Jameis Winston, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, a big problem for the rest of the NFL. Yeah. I think that these guys are really stepping up, and they really just doing some really big things together. And you can see Okay, thank you, Google me. I think you're seeing these guys come together. I think that you're seeing these guys talk it out and express themselves, and it's a really good look, And Jameis is very transparent. You know what I'm saying? Like he if something goes wrong, he'll go over there and ask a person why they decide to do this, or he likes to talk to them. So I like that. I think that's that's a good look. Michael Thomas is so arrogant. He said he don't have time to talk. He's going to show him better than he can tell him. Well, ain't nothing wrong with being arrogant if you can back it up. I mean, I think that he's confident, and I think that he's angry. And I think that this goes back to his earlier NFL career when he first came to the league, and nobody really, looked at him as a serious threat. Nobody looked at him as like, oh, like, oh, he one of the best receivers or could be the best receiver. I mean, he kind of emerged out of nowhere. If some of y'all watched the Weather Channel earlier this morning, they show how the Saints stay cool from the hot weather at training camp. Well, I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. So, but look, I know it's hot. I mean, that's my hometown. I know it's hot, and it's hot out here in South Carolina. So I know a place that has a humidity of 100%. I know it can get real hot out there, but I know they do like really, they use like really great technology, and they use different things to try to keep the players cool. Like I want to say, I don't know if they still had this, but I know one year, like they had like almost like the trailer where these guys can go into like almost like ice box and sit in there for a few minutes and come out. So they tried to make sure that these players stay cool, but I mean, it's only so much you can do in the South, being hot, and not to mention they wear black. My goodness, they wear black as well as white. So I feel bad for the offense, right? I think the offense was out there wearing black. One, one time, and the defense was wearing white. I don't know if they switch it up or take turns or what. Like, y'all gonna be more hotter than us today. I don't know, but they try their best, man. But they try to do everything that they can to make it happen. The thing that stands out to me is how Jameis is more comfortable and calling audible at the line, recognizing coverages. He's getting the ball out big quick as well. That helps when you have three guys. Well, yeah, that's true. And also his knowledge and his ability to learn the playbook is important as well. I think that helps him out a lot. Also, yeah, but I think it helps him out a lot. I think that it's it's beneficial, when you can do stuff like that. And I think this is going into his third season as a quarterback in his system. So he understands, the offense and he knows the playbook better now. So sounds like somebody is taking a roster spot for granted. Sounds like nobody is taking a roster spot for granted. Well, they shouldn't, Jerry. You shouldn't take it for granted. I mean, this is an opportunity for a lot of guys. It's a competition, man. I mean, this is the National Football League. I mean, you don't get an opportunity now. Who knows how many opportunities you'll get down the line? You never know. You never know how many opportunities that you're going to get down the line. So you better take advantage of these opportunities that when they come in front of you, guys are stepping up. And if the Saints team has a full depth of players, it doesn't mean that you're out of the woods. Okay, I mean, you're still putting some on tape for another team to come see you. I mean, what was the Raiders and the Jaguars just played this past week for the Hall of Fame game? I mean, who knows? You know what I'm saying? One of those players that's on the bubble can end up playing for another team, being a part of the other team's starting rotation going towards the season. So you're not just playing to be a member of the Saints. If the Saints don't have a roster spot for you, there's another team out there that may acquire your services. So you better bring it every single week. You seen that Kevin White practice catch. Yeah, man, I seen the Kevin White practice catch, but who cares? I'm serious, man. Who cares? Look, I understand people be getting all excited and stuff like that about training camp footage and tape and one-on-ones. Man, I'm not impressed by none of that stuff. I'm gonna just be serious with you. Like, I don't get impressed by stuff like that. Like, I be watching people when I post the videos and everybody else posts the videos online. We getting all excited and stuff, and guy drop a pass, getting mad. Man, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him, man? He ain't gonna make the team. I mean, off one pass and one drop, like everybody act like the Super Bowl on the line. I'm like, calm the hell down. I'm like, it's just practice. Some people get so wrapped up in this video footage till it's absolutely like it's ridiculous. Like, it's almost like watching a fight, right? Like sometimes you watch some of these fights on social media and you watch it in the middle or something like that. It might be somebody, getting the better of the person. And you like, man, that person got waxed. But at the beginning of the fight, that person probably was getting stomped in mud hole in. I mean, it don't always tell the whole story. But we get so caught up in this footage and now all of a sudden, like Kevin White, the best web catch secret, like, man, give me a freaking break. Dude dropped more passes than I don't know. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. This dude stay dropping passes. He stayed, out of position. But they got one video going around with him catching like a catch where he went vertical. Now all of a sudden, he's the second coming of Randy Moss. Give me a freaking break. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with practice coverage. I'm just not. I mean, you can get excited by people like I'm gonna look at it this way. You can get excited about people like Michael Thomas because Michael Thomas is going to do the same thing that you see on, on the field on Sunday as you do in practice. Like, you can get excited about that because what he's showing you is what he showed you against some of the best competition in the NFL. But somebody like Kevin White, he catch a pass over the backup. Now all of a sudden, like, man, this dude's supposed to be Jerry Rice. Like, give me a break. I'm not impressed at all. At all. If we can unlock Kevin White's potential, we may go undefeated. Man, please. Kevin White is a bum. Straight up. I'm just being 100. I was very reserved at making that statement, but I still with my whole chest. Dude is a bum. I mean, I don't know if the lights are just too bright for him or he's just in his own head. But he is not very good. He ain't. He's not. He's not very good. I mean, the best way he's going to make this team is as a gunner. Like, he's fast. He can get downfield. That's why I feel like he's going to make the team. That's where his bread going to get buttered. He ain't. Come on, man. Kevin White ain't making his team. The only way Kevin White making his team is if he's a gunner on special teams. His speed to get down the field, and I've seen him play on special teams last year, and he downed some passes. You know what I'm saying? Some balls close to the 10 and, you know what I'm saying, inside the 5. That's good stuff right there. That's going to keep you on the team. But as far as him making plays, please knock it off. These young, unproven, undrafted rookies have a better chance of making a spot and being a part of the rotation as a wide receiver than he does. He just out there. And his speed is keeping him on his team. Not his ability to catch a pass, not his ability to run routes, none of that stuff. Dude is a bum. So, TJ, you think since we don't have Quan Alexander, Saints defense will still be good? Who's going to stand out, take his place? P1? Look, I don't know. I don't know what was so impressive about Quan Alexander last year. Like, I don't know what y'all saw. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I just think that most people are just excited about what Quan Alexander was, what Quan Alexander did as far as like being in a huddle and putting up plastic cups and getting hype on the sidelines. Like, I don't care about that stuff. But once again, man, it's like we fall in love with the energy more so than the production. Like, New Orleans Saints fan, we love energy. Like, if a guy's out there really trying hard or he turning up on the sidelines or dancing or something like that, you know what I'm saying? He got the, you know what I'm saying? He got the little towel in his hand. He doing a Benson boogie on the sidelines. So he a fan favorite. It ain't really about production at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, Quan Alexander, to me, I mean, he's mostly known for being a Saint cheerleader more so than the plays that he made as a Saint. I could think of maybe 2 plays that he's made that stood out to me. Okay. It was a game versus San Francisco 49ers when they were on the goal line and they hand the ball off to the running back and he stopped them on 3rd down. And then the final play on Halloween where the Saints needed to stop. It was right after PJ Williams caught the interception, returned it for a touchdown, gave the Saints the lead. They needed to get Tom Brady off the field. Quan Alexander made the final play. I can't think of too many other plays that Quan Alexander made where I just sit up here and be like, man, we going to really miss his production. I mean, I remember when he missed that tackle and you had the running back for Philadelphia that ran like an 80-yard touchdown on the Saints because he missed his gap. I mean, I like Quan Alexander a lot, but for me to sit up here and act like this dude was like gave you DeMario Davis, Jonathan Vilma type production at linebacker, I don't buy it. He's fast, he's instinctive, but it's not like I don't feel like P. Warner can't give you better production than him. I mean, I wasn't that impressed. I think that people, once again, fall in love with the energy more so than the production. People love his energy, like him shaking his, you know what I'm saying, his red and black dreads on the sidelines, him inside the huddle with CJ Garner Johnson, you know what I'm saying, dancing on the sideline in the locker room and stuff after games, because that's what we all love. But as far as like being unstoppable force defensively, no. What's up, TJ? Are you confident in the tight ends going into the season? No, not until I see it. Look, once again, all of this is practice. All of this is practice. What you're seeing right now is just guys going up against each other. They don't want to hurt each other. They don't want to, you know what I'm saying, do anything to cost themselves a guy that can be productive during the regular season. I want to see this in a game. Like, let me see this versus a team that, you know, that want to impose their will against them. Let me see it against them going up against some guys that trying to make another team. Then maybe I get a little bit excited about it. But as far as watching some guys run around with some shorts on and helmets and catching passes like we playing at Bunny Friend Park, I mean, I'm not impressed. I like what I see out of Adam Troutman as far as like him catching passes and stuff, but I want to see it in a real game. I want to see what these guys can actually do in real time. I'm not. I can't. I'm sorry. I don't get impressed by videos. Videos can be whatever we want them to be. They got Daniel Jones looking like a straight up bum every time. You know what I'm saying? Like the narrative is that Daniel Jones can't play quarterback. Now, you know what I'm saying? Every video that they have out about him is him throwing the ball out of bounds or running away out of the pocket and throwing the ball away. Just calamity stuff, right? I'm pretty sure he's throwing some decent passes in practice somewhere. But of course, the narrative is he's not very good. So video can make you believe anything, right? I mean, they got people out here talking about, man, we need to give Kevin White a chance because he caught one pass. Like, I don't know. I don't get it, right? I need to see it in real time. I'm not impressed with video footage. What's up, TJ? I'm back on the YouTube. Well, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you know what I'm saying, you being here, number one. And number two, man, glad to see that you're back on YouTube. Quan be overshooting plays sometime. Look, Quan Alexander is a good linebacker. He is. But I mean, like I said, it's not like we missing Demario Davis or something like that. Like, he didn't give you Demario Davis type production. I just think that the energy was what we fell in love with more so than his production. Warner played a reduced role last year, but while he was in the Saints linebacker court, was elite. He played a reduced role in the beginning. Then towards the end, if you notice, Quan Alexander couldn't see the field because Pete Warner was playing much better, if you notice. So, and then on top of that, Quan Alexander started the season, then he missed like 5 games with an elbow injury or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. What was this all-world, you know what I'm saying? Like all this all-world production that people are talking about. Like, I didn't see it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, he's good. He's a solid linebacker. If the Saints like needed somebody and he was still out there, I would want him, but people were making it seem like it was just imperative that this dude be here. Like, I don't know about that, folks. He ain't talking no backup role or special team. Besides, at most, he will give you maybe 10 games a year. Who we talking about here? Oh yeah, I guess we talking about Quan Alexander. Quan Alexander give you 10 games at best. You know, if that, you know, because I mean, see, he always hurt. That's one of the main reasons why, you know, Tampa didn't try so hard to keep him. You know, he ended up going to the 49ers. Reason why the 49ers, which we were able to get him via trade. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, good, but you know, he always hurt. He was like Sean Lee, right? That's a good example. He's like Sean Lee for the Cowboys. Sean Lee was really good as a linebacker. Like, when he was young, Sean Lee was a beast. Like, Sean Lee would take over a game. I know we don't like the Cowboys, but it's the truth. Sean Lee was all over the field, but he was always hurt. When he was in the game, he probably arguably the best player on the field, but he was always hurt. And that's kind of like what Quan was like early in his career. He was really, really good. Then all of a sudden, like, you know, he get hurt. And then the next guy step up. I would play if my contract is guaranteed, no precision games. Let's see. Also, Warner in coverage is a plus. He is great in coverage, and he doesn't overshoot many gaps. Not at all. That's one of the main reasons why the Saints got him. They got him because of his coverage skills. He was top in the nation coming out of Ohio State at his coverage on linebackers. I mean, on tight ends and running backs. I mean, he was one of the best. And in the NFL today, you have these athletic, running backs who can catch the ball like wide receivers, and these tight ends who catch the ball like receivers. So you need a linebacker that can be able to run. Like, you got a guy like DeMarco Jackson, right? You know what I'm saying? Like DeMarco, you know, the linebacker at Appalachian State who's hurt right now. But we were talking about how his range, how he was able to, you know what I'm saying, chase a tight end down the field, you know what I'm saying, to break up a pass. Like, you need that type of linebacker in today's NFL, and Pete Warner is that guy. If you don't have that, I mean, them old days where the linebacker just sacks the quarterback and tackle the running back when it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust, those days are over. That's why, most of like if you see like most linebackers, they're not 260, 250 pounds like they used to. Most of them like 220, 230, because they got to be able to run with them tight ends and them running backs. And that's what Pete Warner gives you. If I was a young person, I would want to see my money first. Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about here, but I guess we talking about contracts. Yeah, I mean, look, guys want to get paid. That's important. But production is important, of course, but you also want to be smart. And I guess that leads me to my next point, because I haven't talked about this, is CJ Garner Johnson contract and his choice in his decision to kind of take it light at practice. The first thing I'll say about that is I'm not mad at it, because once again, I think we so quick to get mad at these players because they make business decisions. But in reality, these teams make business decisions over these players all the freaking time, right? If a player goes down, or they not, or they hurt, or they not giving you the same production they once did when you drafted them, you're going to find somebody else to give you that, right? And then they're going to say it's what? Business. These players, they need to treat themselves the same way. They need to treat themselves the way that these organizations treat them, right? Their body is their business. Their limbs, their extremities is their business. If he ends up getting hurt, they're not going to say, oh, man, well, he hurt himself giving his all for the team. No, they're going to use that as leverage. Well, he damaged goods, may not have him this season. Doctor saying blah, blah, blah. So what they're going to do? They're going to let that reflect on his contract. If the Saints don't pay CJ Garner Johnson, it would be a huge mistake. It would be a huge mistake. You need this type of production. You need this type of personality in your locker room. And to be quite honest with you, I'm gonna be real with you. I think, and they'll never say it, but I think it has a lot to do with it. I think CJ Garner Johnson's personality is one of the deciding factors why the Saints are reluctant to pay this dude. I mean, I'm gonna just be a conspiracy theorist here. I'm gonna just be a conspiracy theorist. I could be way out in left field, but work with me. There was this, I want to say a couple, like last year. I'll say last year. Desean Jackson is a real big TikToker, him and his wife. Shouts out to Desean Jackson and his wife. They're real big TikTokers. So he was going around the locker room, and it was like, name a player on your team that you wouldn't trust with money. And all the players were like, CJ Garner Johnson. They were like, CD. And they was talking about how, he's not really good when it comes to money. Now, we laugh and say it was a joke, but the joke wasn't, like, the joke was everybody picked him. When teams are thinking about paying players, and this is what Mickey Loomis said in the press conference. He said, you want to make sure that you're making the right decision of paying guys. And if you pay them, you want to make sure that these guys are going to continue to play and give you that type of production for years to come, right? It's like they want to be great, right? You pay a guy like Cam Jordan, and he ends up being the undisputed leader of the team. You pay a guy like DeMario Davis, he becomes the undisputed leader of the team, right? Well, if you pay a guy like this, is he going to allow that money? You know what I'm saying? He's going to go out here, use his money and ends up becoming a prima donna? I think that has a lot to do with it. Because what other reason why when you pay him? If you look at CJ Garner Johnson's production, he's one of the top nickel corners in all of football. Right? He's one of the best nickel corners that they have out there. I think he's like ranked number 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to people like his position. So that tells you right there, like, he deserves to get paid. So what other reason why you wouldn't want to pay him? In my humble guesstimation, I think it has a lot to do with his personality. I think his personality is one of the deciding factors, right? They feel like, well, he's this way now. So if we really pay him, there's really nothing we're going to be able to do about it. And he really might be off the chains. I mean, I could be wrong, but when Mickey Loomis was like, we try to make the right decision on who we pay. When you hear people say stuff like that, you got to kind of read between the lines. So I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. I'm just being 100. Like a lot of teams, they're reluctant to pay certain guys because of their personalities, because they feel like maybe if you give them certain amount of money, then the value might go up a little louder. So Ronald, thank you very much for 999. Says you're right. Teams really don't run their base defense anymore. 4-3, 3-4 is not the early 2000s anymore. Teams 85 to 90% of the time, teams run nickel and dime. Well, the Saints run 4-3-3-4, nickel, dime. I mean, the Saints have different defensive packages, and I think they run. But it depends on like the teams that they actually playing. The Saints don't just have like one particular base defense like how they used to do back in the day. Some teams have it, where they have a dominant like 3-4 or 4-3 or something like that. But other teams, if they they kind of switch it up, that's what the Saints do. Saints don't have just Saints. That's why a lot of teams when they play the Saints defensively, they really don't know how to approach it. The Saints kind of adjust to what the other team does, and they adjust their defense accordingly. So how you felt seeing your Carver Rams at training camp? My fiance graduated from Carver in '98. She was too excited. Well, it was good to see, man. It was good to see my alma mater, Carver High School, at camp, meeting Michael Thomas, Jameis Winston embracing them, stuff like that, bringing them over there. It was a good look, man. Good look for Carver High School, and I know those kids were excited, man. I mean, that's something they're gonna be able to tell their grandkids about, or their kids about once they get older. TJ, did you see the interview when Mike T told Jeff Duncan about those BS stories he was writing? 985, yeah. I did a whole show about that. I did a whole show about what he said. I don't know. I don't know if I still have that. No, I don't. I don't have it anymore. But yeah, man, we talked about that on the show before. So yeah, we talked about it. Everybody kind of laughed at it, thought it was funny. But that just shows you the type of player Michael Thomas is. He has a huge chip on his shoulder. He has a very huge chip on his shoulder. CD said himself in that video, it's not funny at all. What's the status on Michael Thomas' contract? Is he up for a new one? Nah, no, he not. Michael Thomas still under contract to the Saints for another 3 years. So I mean, he on contract. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say, to be honest with you, it might be. It's 3 years because he still had a year on his contract when he signed a new 5-year deal. You know what I'm saying? That $100 million deal that he had. So yeah, he's still with the Saints for the foreseeable future. We ain't got to worry about Michael Thomas for a while. I just seen Willie Snead went to the 49ers. Well, good for him, Willie Snead still finding work. He picked himself as well. I believe Thomas has another 2 or 3 years on his contract. Yeah, I haven't heard from him for a while. Let's see. Who will be our free safety? May. Marcus. Marcus May. Yeah, Marcus May is. He's the safety. Oh, you know what I'm saying? They can be interchangeable. He can play free safety. Hunter Badger can play strong, or vice versa, Maybe Hunter Badger plays more free safety this year. Yeah, I think he probably gonna be more of the Malcolm Jenkins role. I think he gonna play more of the Malcolm Jenkins role, and I think Marcus May gonna be more of the enforcer, like Marcus Williams was. For being a guy who was covering most of the field. They might wait to see what the cap looking like, and maybe what the market decides he is worth, and match it. But I gotta say, get McCoy done first. Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, you always gotta look at the offensive line first. You gotta protect your quarterback. So I think that you have to look at Aaron McCoy, and then you can go to CJ Garner Johnson. I think that's important. I think that's the route you need to go. Did Sam Mills go into the Hall of Fame as a Carolina Panther? No, I think Sam Mills went into the Hall of Fame as a Carolina Panther and a Saint, which really doesn't make sense to me because Sam Mills played his career majority as a New Orleans Saint. I want to say he only played 2 or 3 years active as a Carolina Panther. Even though Carolina did put a statue outside the stadium for him. I mean, this guy's a New Orleans Saint, and I think of course, like after he retired, he became a member of the coaching staff. But I say he more of a Saint than he is a Carolina Panther. But they're gonna try to nab him. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a Carolina Panther. So I think we all can kind of claim him. But the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame is what he did with the New Orleans Saints, being a part of the Dome Patrol. I think we drafted. And matter of fact, before I say that, and I get the Cajun, since we speaking of Dome Patrol, man, they need to go ahead and put Pat Swilling in the Hall of Fame. Let's go ahead and put the man in there. Over 100 sacks. I mean, one of the best linebackers, 91 Defensive Player of the Year. You put Brian Young in there, I only think he cracked 100 sacks. So I don't know, man. Like, if you're going to look at Brian Young, and I understand he won Super Bowls and stuff like that, and he was a heck of a player. Brian Young was. He really was. But if you're going to look at him and say, okay, man, he had less than 100 sacks, why can't you put a guy who was Defensive Player of the Year and has over 100 sacks? So let's go ahead and put Pat Swilling in the Hall of Fame. Let's get that man in there. I think we drafted Taylor to replace C.J. Garner Johnson. Had to be why we reached for a corner in the second. Well, look, I hope not. I hope that's not the case. Could be the case that the Saints may have looked at it as leverage. Could be. Or they could be looking at this like, maybe a guy like Bradley Roby, a guy that's going to get, a certain amount of money because he's a veteran. We ain't got to worry about paying him because we got this young kid that we can have for under a rookie deal for 4 years. So, I mean, you could look at it that way, but the Saints want the best players on the field. They're gonna sign the players that they feel like give them production. And I'm gonna just be 100 with you. The Saints usually pay guys that consistently give you production, like not guys who ended up like playing with empty pockets and then all of a sudden they had the best year of their career, like Von Bell. Like Von Bell, the last year of his New Orleans Saints deal before he signed with Cincinnati probably was his best year statistically. Guys like Trey Hendrickson, his last year of a rookie deal was his best season as a Saint, even though he followed it up with a really good season last year. But all I'm saying was, I mean, he'll come out there, he'll have like 3 or 4 sacks, then he'll get hurt and be missing about 5-6 games, and then all of a sudden he'll come back, do a little something else. The Saints want players that give them consistency. Like C.J. Garner Johnson, based on like his play, his consistency, I think that he's going to end up getting paid. Eric McCoy, based on his consistency, I think that he's going to end up getting paid. When you look at guys that, kind of up and down, like even guys like Marcus Williams, like kind of up and down, you know what I'm saying? Made good plays, you know what I'm saying? Like, can run across the field, cover about 20 yards of field and catch an interception, but struggle with tackling. His ability, you know what I'm saying, sometimes in coverage was a liability. So, I think when it comes to consistency, I think that's when the Saints pay guys. So if you're talking about consistency, I mean, C.J. Garner Johnson has been consistent throughout his entire NFL career. So why not pay the guy? Why not pay him? I attended one of the only public Eagle practices tonight. Let's just say the shaky pass up here puts Jameis' precision and arm talent in a whole new light. Thank God we got him. Well, I know the Eagles, they got Jalen Hurts. I want to say Gardner Minshew, and they got another quarterback, right? Who's the other guy that they got? I know one of those I know they got like another quarterback. I think he was a part of the draft. Can't think of his name. Ain't Matt Carroll. It ain't Matt Carroll. It's somebody else. But it's like one out of one of those other guys. I want to say it's the dude from what is him from Nevada? Somebody help me out. Somebody help me out. I know it's not Eagles show, but it's one of them guys. I want to say it's the guy from Nevada that everybody was talking about. Trevor needs to fight the Falcons week 1. That's if he starts. I mean, getting thrown out of practice is not going to help you. Why would he go into the Hall of Fame as a Carolina Panther? Yeah, because he played for Carolina. How much do you? I'm not sure what you mean. What would you consider a successful year based on our roster and our coach changes? Personally, I think a playoff win would be a decent under new regime. Well, I'll get into that at a later date. Shouts out to all the Saints channels. What's up, TJ? You sound better. Yeah, man. If only I can get rid of this cough. Thing about it is about with these coughs, it's like when you project in any way, you start coughing. Like I don't cough until like I'm talking consistently like I am right now. Like if I stop and I wasn't talking, I wouldn't be even coughing at all. Like it's not even, it's just when I talk, I guess, or project my voice. 255 people watching this right now. Wow, man. Thank y'all for being here. Just ask that you hit the like button, and I would appreciate that. I appreciate everybody hit that like button. Get these likes up. Get these views up. What up, TJ? Football season is officially back. Yep. 222 watching and only 1 like. I doubt that. I don't know. Maybe watching on another streaming platform, but I doubt it. I don't want to believe over 200 people watching this. I got 1 like on this show. I refuse to believe that. I don't know how to keep up with the likes. I mean, is Ironhead a top 10 Saint? No, I don't think so. I wouldn't say I say he a Saints legend, but I wouldn't call him a top 10 Saint. No, I wouldn't say he a top 10 Saint. There's been 10 guys, better than Ironhead, Craig Haywood in Saints history. I mean, top 15 maybe, but I wouldn't say top 10. I mean, because now you got to start adding some current players on there. I mean, I say this all the time. I mean, the Saints history is not that rich. It's not rich to a point where some of these modern day Saints players can't jump over some of these other guys. I mean, think about this, all right? I mean, let's look at like Saints top 10s, right? I mean, number 1, goes without saying, Drew Brees. Number 2, I mean, get in where you fit in. It depends on where you want to go with it. Number 2, some people might say Archie Manning. Some people might say Willie Roaf. Some people, might say Deuce McAllister. All right, but I'm just naming some names. Like there's no particular order. Number 1, Drew Brees, goes without saying. That's the only one I would say is in order. Number 2, a guy like Deuce McAllister. Number 3, Willie Roaf. Number 4, Willie Jackson. Number 5, Pat Swilling. Number 6, Joe Horn. I mean, you could think about like so many other guys, right, who have made their mark in Saints history, before you get the Ironhead. I mean, so many other guys. I mean, even like some of them other players, right? Like Lance Moore, you know what I'm saying? Like Robin Meacham. Like these guys, you know what I'm saying? Like they top 20 Saints of all time because the Saints history isn't that rich. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not that rich to a point where you can't put like some of these modern day New Orleans Saints players on the list ahead. Some of those guys that we liked in the 90s who probably caught 1 touchdown that you remember. I mean, it's just the truth, man. So, yeah, Carson Strong. Thank you, man. I knew it was the dude from Nevada. I couldn't think of his name. Ronald, thank you very much for the 199. Says, TJ, do you still play Madden? Man, I'm playing Madden the other day. Yeah, I'm playing Madden. I'm playing with the Denver Broncos, and I was playing with Ned Setfield. You know what I'm saying? Ned Setfield, the quarterback for the 49ers right now. But he was mostly known for playing for Philadelphia. That famous Sunday night game that got Doug Peterson fired when he yanked Jalen Hurts and put Ned Sudfeld in. And they tried to make it seem like it was Doug Peterson's decision, but in reality, it was the owners because they wanted to tank because they wanted to get better draft position, and they put that on Doug Peterson, like the cowards that they are. You know what I'm saying? It made that man have to sit out of football for a year because it made him look like a coward. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Carson Strong, who might end up being a quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles in the future. Trevor Penning is going to be good for us because that will make the entire line be more aggressive to match his intensity. Yeah, man, I'm not really too concerned about that, but I will say this. You got to be real careful because now people are asking a question, did Trevor Penning get in a fight? You know, more so than like, how did he do today? You know, now it's like we starting to look forward to seeing him fight somebody versus seeing how he progresses as an offensive lineman, offensive tackle, because I mean, he was already raw coming out of Northern Iowa, but now it's like that's kind of taking a back seat to, man, you know what I'm saying? You seen he was fighting Peyton Turner, or you seen he was fighting JT Gray, or you seen he got kicked out of practice for fighting Malcolm Roach. Like, that ain't the direction you want to go in. Like, I like the fire and desire and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want him to lose that, but I definitely don't want that to overshadow his ability to play the position. And leaving and missing practice when you're that young and inexperienced. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's not a good look. You need as many reps as you can. Super Bowl is my expectation, nothing less with this talent. TJ, are you feeling better? The Rona ain't no joke, brother. Yeah, I'm feeling better. Like I said, I mean, I have my energy back for the most part. He just is cough, man. When like I said, when I'm projecting, when I'm speaking, it makes me cough. Besides that, I'm fine. And I apologize, man. I'm coughing every few sentences, but that's kind of like, you know, it's always the last thing that leaves you, like when you have a cold, like the cough. And that's like the worst, right? Because you still have that last bit of cold in your throat and you lay down at night and then all the cold kind of drains to the back of your throat and you coughing and got to lay sideways. And, you know, like it's just the worst, man. It's just the worst. What's up with Bobby Abel hating on Jameis so damn much? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know why people like. I don't know why people on Bobby like that much. You know, I mean, man, just giving his opinion just like everybody else, I guess. But guess people don't like his opinion, and I don't know. That's just how he feels. If Shadir Sanders balled out, would you want the Saints to draft him? No, no, I would not. At this particular point, I like Jackson State. I think Shadir Sanders is good, but I don't think he's that good. I don't. I think he. I got to see him play this season, but I think he's a turnover machine. Not so much about him throwing a football, causing an interception, but just think he has small hands, man. I think that he struggles with ball security. Like he fumbles the ball too much for my liking. He pretty accurate, you know, like short, immediate passes. I mean, I don't think he got the strongest arm I ever seen. I mean, compared to other HBCU quarterbacks, he's probably the best. You know, like I ain't trying to like downgrade HBCU quarterback play, but it's not the best. I mean, if you see like a real good quarterback at HBCU, it's like a rarity. Like when you see guys that can kind of thread the needle consistently, like what Aqeel Glass was, you know, when he was at Alabama A&M, you know, it's kind of hard to see guys, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why, like normally, if you have like above above average quarterback play, a quarterback that can get the ball down the field, most likely your team gonna win the swag. I have never, like seriously, I've never seen a quarterback that has been the best in the SWAC conference as long as I've been watching, as long as I've been going to school. I've never seen whoever didn't have the best quarterback didn't win the SWAC. Seriously. Back like in the 2010s when we had Casey Terrio, that's Brittany Renner's first boyfriend when she was at Jackson State. But yeah, man, Casey Terrio was a beast. The only I'm about to say in the Saints and Jackson State should have won it. They should have won that year, but I think they ended up getting on probation or something like that. They went like 10-1, but they should have won the SWAC. They should have went to the SWAC championship that year, but they couldn't go. He was the best quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like fast forward, then you had what was the dude name for Grambling? Came out of Ole Miss. Man, but he was pretty doggone good. You know what I'm saying? They ended up winning, you know what I'm saying, and going on that little magical run. Then you had Alcorn, had their quarterback. He probably was the best. And then Aquil Glass came along, and he was the best. And then Shadur Sanders came along, and he was the best. And he won the SWAC. So it's very rare. It's very rare that you see a guy in the SWAC who's don't have the best quarterback, don't end up winning the SWAC. It's very rare. Very, very, very rare. And yeah, Kincaid, thank you. Kincaid, yeah, that's the dude name. Yeah, because yeah, man. I mean, that's just the way that it goes. Yeah, I mean, for all my HBCU, all my SWAC alumni out there, SWAC goers, have you ever seen a quarterback that played in the SWAC during the time you were there and your team didn't win the SWAC? I mean, you can go date back with that when Steve McNair, L. McNair was at Alcorn, best quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. They was winning the SWAC, right? So if you have a really good quarterback going to win the SWAC, if he above everybody else, they're gonna win. My born day tomorrow. Shout out to all the Leos. Happy birthday, TJ. Roger, appreciate it, man. Happy birthday to you as well. Man, this mad crazy that we're talking about Philly shaky quarterbacks and you're referencing Nate Sudfeld out of nowhere. Love it. Look, man, I mean, look, I was playing with the Denver Broncos and Ned Sudfeld, you know what I'm saying? That was the quarterback that I had. So, I mean, he trashed on the game. So, I kind of been built him up, you know what I'm saying? Now he can throw the ball a little bit down the field. Instead of like throwing 4 interceptions a game, he throwing 2. He getting there though, you know what I'm saying? We still winning game, playing good defense, right? Had a good solid draft. You know, I'm in like the 3rd season. What I do is, man, I start like I get a team and I make them really, really terrible. Like I sell off like all the good players. I like the team build. So I sell off like all the good players and assimilate the first season. I know they're gonna suck. They probably gonna be picking in the top 3, and then I just start my season from there. Yeah, but what better way of making your team suck than have Ned Sudfeld as your quarterback? Quentin Gray from FAMU is probably the last great HBCU quarterback with respect to Kendrick Nunn. I don't know, man. Tavar Jackson, you know what I'm saying, was pretty good too. Tavar Jackson, may he rest in peace. He was pretty good, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, she had a good, solid NFL career. You know what I'm saying? He started a couple games. He was a backup, and he was still a backup before he was unfortunately tragically killed. I mean, you have some HBCU quarterbacks that go into, they end up, holding some clipboards and end up having some solid careers. But Tavar Jackson was pretty good when he was playing. Once again, Casey Terrio, he was pretty good. I think Aquil Glass, I think there's a place for him in the NFL. Maybe as like a backup. Maybe you have to go somewhere else, maybe the XFL or something like that to kind of develop a league that's legitimately give him a chance. But you got some good HBCU quarterbacks, man. They play, they play some good. They play some good. They play some good football, man. You might find a rarity somewhere. But we got to speak about Kiko Alonso. Kiko Alonso signed with the New Orleans Saints. Practiced one time and decided to hang it up. Said that just felt like his heart wasn't in it. I know some people were laughing, you know what I'm saying? Some people had jokes. Some people said he felt that New Orleans heat and decided to wrap it up. But look, Kiko Alonso, to me, was one of those guys that had talent, had ability, but unfortunately, the injury gods just was not on his side. He always was hurt. He's tore his ACL, I want to say, on multiple occasions. Gave really good production. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was Defensive Rookie of the Year when he first got into the league coming out of Oregon. But when you have to go through all those different things, man, all that rehabilitation and, You got to, you know what I'm saying, get in that mind frame, be in the zone, play football. But when you don't have it anymore, man, you know, you just don't have it. And we seen this, right? We seen this before. Like Kiko Alonso, you know, doing it. Last year was Chris Hogan, right? And Patrick Robinson was another. So I mean, there's no need for you to go out there and play the game and then your heart's not in it. And you just find yourself like looking back and being like, man, I shouldn't be out here. I'm doing a disservice to somebody. That can be somebody else's opportunity. So somebody's going to get opportunity that wouldn't have got opportunity if Kiko Alonso would have been out there. So it's good that he came to that conclusion. I hope the brother finds closure in his post-football life, and I hope that, you know, he got it out of his system, which I feel like he did. So not mad at him, you know. Think he would have been able to add a little depth. Wouldn't think that he was going to be a starter or anything like that. Probably would have ended up doing some special team stuff, and maybe he just felt like he had more to give. And maybe because he wasn't given that, he didn't feel like it was worth his time. Wow, you're live right now, not getting shadow banned. I don't know exactly what shadow ban actually means. Somebody explain that to me. I don't even know what shadow ban means. Forgot about Tavares Jackson. He was solid. Yeah, he was. Do you have a problem with people that get tunnel vision with stats and not why a player has those stats? Do I have a problem with people that get tunnel vision with stats and not why a player has those stats? If I'm understanding what you're trying to ask me, Rudy, do I have a problem with people having tunnel vision with stats? Depends on who are we talking about. We talking about a player. If a player just so hell bent on stats, my son crying at the door. But no, if it's if that's your main priority, right? Stat padding, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I have a problem with that if you're a player, because that shouldn't be your primary focus, right? The primary focus should be to win, right? And do everything that you have to do in order to help the team win. Of course, you're human, right? Every player wants to get that gold jacket. Well, I don't want to say every player, but if you're a good player, if you're a player that has pride in the game and the love for the game, you want to have a gold jacket. So yeah, stats shouldn't matter, but it shouldn't be the ultimate goal, right? You should be able to develop stats as your team gets better and as your team wins. So if that's your top priority, then I would have a huge problem with that. Why a player has those stats? No, I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know why a player, you know what I'm saying, get those stats. It's because most likely, you know what I'm saying, they're in a really good position. If you're a good offensive player, you have really good offensive production. It's because you have a really good offensive coaching staff and a really good offense around you. Defensively, if you have really good defensive stats, because you have a really good defensive coach and you have really good defensive players that are around you to help you. So as long as the stats aren't your ultimate goal, as long as it's not the ultimate objective, you know. Don't forget about Cordell Stewart. Oh, I haven't forgot about Cordell Stewart, but Cordell Stewart went to the University of Colorado, and that's not HBCU. But he is from Louisiana. So I mean, give him a shout out for that. But no, you know what I'm saying? I didn't forget about Cordell Stewart, but he went to Colorado. One more week until a Saints football game. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see the preseason this year because I want to see what some of these younger guys can actually do. You know, I want to see what some of these guys can bring to the table. Pete Warner's production is what I wanted out of Zach Bond when he first joined us. Zach Bond is toast. Unless he's about to make it on special teams, I can't see him being a part of the rotation. I think the Saints like Caden Ellis a little bit better than him. And if you look at Andrew Dowell, I look at him as probably being the new Craig Robinson of the special teams. And also he's been playing much better as a linebacker. And then you have DeMarco Jackson, who I feel like going to end up playing Zach Bond's plays. I think Zach Bond's goose is cooked. I think it's cooked, man. Still not sold on DA. 8-28 is his resume. Well, he hasn't coached a game yet. You know what I'm saying? Like as the official head coach. So I mean, I don't see why would you be sold on him? You know, like he hasn't done anything. I mean, that's well within your rights. Like You know, I mean, to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little bit nervous. I gotta see this thing because right now it sounds like to me like he sounds just like Sean Payton. Like seriously, like he sounds exactly like Sean Payton. His terminology, his cadence, his you know what I'm saying, the way he talks about players, it's like all I see is Sean Payton. I'm serious. Like he sounds like Sean Payton with a little bit more enthusiasm. That's what it sounds like to me. But the way he talks about him, like he refers to like when the media talks about a certain guy, he doesn't acknowledge them by name. He'll say the player, like how Sean Payton would. Um, you know, how Sean Payton would start off the press conference real quick. You know, he says the same thing too. So I'm saying too much of Sean Payton, you know. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's because, you know, he's been around Sean Payton. He's been under his tutelage all that time. I don't know, but I the way that he delivers during a press conference, um, you know, I don't know. I'm seeing a little bit of Sean Payton. The only thing is I have an appreciation for it is when a media personality or a media reporter get high on a guy because of what they seen on that day. He's never too high, too low on the guy. He's like, man, I mean, I gotta see it in the game. You know, I like that about him, but the way that he delivers kind of reminds me of Sean Payton. Colorado is the swag. No, not when Cordell Stewart was there. Cordell Stewart, you gotta keep in mind when I think when he was there, man, I think it was in the Rose Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was in the Rose Bowl. Do you think the starters should play in preseason? No, absolutely not. No, they should not. No starter for the New Orleans Saints that is credible should be playing in the preseason. Seriously, I don't even think people like Mark Ingram should play. No, he shouldn't. Mark Ingram should not play in preseason. He should not. Get that to the Abram Smiths and the Devon Zigbos and the Tony Jones Juniors of the world. We all know what Mark Ingram can do. Mark Ingram has been in the league for 12 years. Let that man sit on the sidelines, rest himself up, and do his thing. There's really no receiver. You probably could put Deontay Hardy or Callaway and them out there, or something like that, you know, but those guys aren't starters. Um, no, no Michael Thomas, no Alvin Kamara, no Jameis. You know what I'm saying? Like none of those guys should be out there. You know, none of those guys should be out there. I don't think we should see Jameis until maybe the second game and maybe one series, if that. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of get some, you know what I'm saying, get them some reps. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, and I don't think you're going to see it, but, you know, just for him to get out there, because, I mean, when you're coming off an ACL injury, you probably have a little bit of nerves. And, you know, maybe taking that little hit, that little nudge to yourself kind of will wake you up and be like, okay, I'm back. Because, you know, you got to have the ability to trust your body. He's probably not going to trust his body at practice that much because he knows guys can't hit him. I mean, you know, they aren't supposed to hit him. No, so absolutely not. Taysom Hill would be dropped off at the bus stop looking sad. Next question. Man, Taysom Hill deserves to be on this team. I don't know what you talk about there. You know, Taysom Hill deserves to be on the Saints team. You can have your opinion about him as a quarterback, but as a Saints player, he one of the best. What are your thoughts about Taysom Hill at tight end? I think that it's a good fit for him. I think that he can be productive. And I think that if you line him up in other positions other than quarterback, I think he'll be even more productive. I was joking. Get the confidence up. Yeah, that's what I feel about it. I think a guy got to take that hit. I think a guy got to take that hit, man. You know, I ain't saying like a hit to get him hurt, but you know, like if the offensive line protecting you or something like that, and then all of a sudden like guys in close to your face, and you know they might take you down or push you, nudge you a little bit so you can fall on the ground. I think guys need that, you know, especially coming off an injury, you know, but I don't think like he should be playing in no other game besides maybe one series to kind of get those jitters off. Hello, who that family? TJ, your thoughts on Pete Carmichael this season? I think he can come up with an offensive game plan. I think Pete Carmichael is a good offensive coordinator. I think that we just grown accustomed to Sean Payton, and now we have like this mind frame like that. What most people have taught us, like if you have a head coach that calls the plays, the guy that's the coordinator is not really that good. But Pete Carmichael is capable of calling them plays. So I think that he can come up with a game plan. If there was a team made up entirely of Taysom Hills, would they beat every other team? Yeah, because there are certain things that he lacks in. So if you have Taysom Hill as a quarterback, now if we're talking about heart and determination, yeah, that's going to be a tough team to beat. We talking about skill set, yeah, that team can be beatable, But if we're talking about heart, like, look, if every person on a team has the heart of Taysom Hill, they're going to be a tough team to beat any Sunday. I like Taysom Hill, man. I like his heart and his determination. And I like the way that, he carved out a lane for himself. You got to respect the game, man. You got to respect the player and the game. Because now you have teams out here that are trying to mimic and trying to do what Taysom Hill does with guys that are more athletic players. Like you see, Deebo Samuels lining up in the backfield, running, running the ball. And guys like Cordell Patterson and all that kind of stuff, throwing the football, running the football, catching the football. All that comes and derives from the way Sean Payton came up with game plans for Taysom Hill. Now you got teams out here who have quarterbacks and everybody kind of looking for that next Taysom Hill type. Why risk getting hurt in the preseason, bro? It's not about getting hurt in the preseason. It's about, look, here's the thing. I'm talking about one series to knock off like them jitters. And we talking about game one. What's the difference? So if he goes out there and he gets hit, and I'm knocking on wood and I say this, and he gets hurt, what's the difference? Oh, it's regular season? Well, guess what? He's still going to be out for the foreseeable future. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he's supposed to play like a whole series. All I know is when guys are coming back from injury, you're at practice. These are your teammates, right? And they know how important you are to the team. So they're not going to touch you, or they're not going to try to do anything to really seriously hurt you, right? Versus, you know what I'm saying? They're going to try to, they're going to ease up. They're not even going to make sure you hit the ground. I just think that there's a psychological thing that you have to deal with. I'm not saying he got to go out there. If you see, you know what I'm saying, like he take like a hit or something like that, and you're like, man, I don't know about that. Take him out. But like just give him like some time where he can actually throw a pass. One series. Well, I mean, it's not going to me, it's not going to hurt anything. Do you think Michael Thomas gets his top wide receiver spot back this season? He already got it. He already got it. He already the number one receiver. He ain't never lose it. Like, who took it from him? Who took it from him? Look, man, no disrespect to Jarvis Landry, but Jarvis Landry is not better than Michael Thomas. Not to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chris Olave is good, but he ain't better than Michael Thomas, not at this stage of his career. Michael Thomas is a special wide receiver. And I don't know why people just acting as if this dude not. Like, I get it, right? The dude been gone for a year plus, and he been out of sight, out of mind, and we seen all these other wide receivers come through, and now all of a sudden, like, he ain't got it no more because he been dealing with an ankle injury. When guys gone for more than a year with an ankle injury, or they gone for more than a year with a shoulder or a pec, and all of a sudden the pecking order of the NFL changes, and all of a sudden we feel like these guys aren't as special anymore because maybe some of the glitter and some of the shine then left off of them. But Michael Thomas is special, and Michael Thomas is a really good receiver. And Michael Thomas, to me, is still the best receiver on that team. He is. I don't care about pregame rituals and one hand snags and dark visors and you know what I'm saying and all dark clothing and looking the part. Michael Thomas may not be the sexiest wide receiver you ever seen as far as like running down the field like he Tyreek Hill or you know what I'm saying like being as smooth down the field and throwing his cuts as a Stephon Diggs. But that dude is talented. And I think we forget that. I think it's been a long time since we actually seen this dude actually take over a game. So now it's like we acting like these other guys just came in and it just jumped right past these dudes. Michael Thomas is special, man. And I want to say, I want people to understand how good and how special this dude actually is. And it's like we label this dude because we haven't seen him in a while, right? But when this dude start giving all this production, then all of a sudden, same people that be talking all that noise gonna act like they ain't say these things. What I seen from Michael Thomas the last time he was on the field healthy, and even if you talk about when he was hurt, some of the games where the Saints needed him the most and he was out there hurt, he still went over 100 yards. When the Saints was jockeying for position when it came to the division, he went out there on a bum ankle and gave the Saints 100 plus yards, right? You know what I'm saying? Against the Atlanta Falcons, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hell, he even scored a touchdown in the playoffs versus the Bears when he was on a bum ankle. So why are people just thinking if this dude could do this on a bum ankle, still finding ways to get wide open? Why can't this dude do it when his ankle is repaired? And now you see him going out here against the best what the Saints have to offer. If looking at all of the signs, Paulson Adebo, who has been dominating, and he goes out there and make this dude look like he Devontae, you know what I'm saying? Like he Devontae Harris or something. I ain't say Deontay Harris, I said Devontae Harris. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Devontae Harris, Smoke Turkey 2.0. Him and Corey White. He was in that cornerback room. So I'm not going to sit up here and disrespect that man. And I just think that we quick to dismiss a guy because we ain't seen him in a while. So we just look at him as damaged goods. So now he's not good enough to be the number one receiver anymore. He's the best wide receiver on his team. Michael Thomas is the best wide receiver on the Saints team. Do you think Michael Thomas gets over 15,000 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns this season? I think he get 10 touchdowns, but I don't know about 1,500 yards. I think he don't get 1,500, not because I don't think he can't. I just think that the way that they're going to distribute the ball, I think you're probably going to be looking at probably his second year in the league when he was had 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns, something like that. You know, I think he's going to break his touchdown record in the season. I think he's going to have at least 10 or 11, but I don't think that he's going to get 1,500 yards. I don't think that. With Jameis and at the helm, it's going to open up Mike T full route tree. I agree. You know, I think that people, and that's another thing. People think that he only can run one specific route because the way the Saints offense was structured because of Drew Brees' arm strength at the time. So everybody just under the impression like the dude, that's all he can run. And honestly, man, when did that matter? When did that when do we start caring about, oh, all the dude run is a slant, all he runs are out? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I don't get it. I understand because everybody on this, you know what I'm saying, everybody is just coked out of their mind about, you know what I'm saying, people going down the field and long bombs down the field and bombs over Baghdad and bombs over here and bombs over there. Come on, man. I don't care. Who cares how a team scores a touchdown? I don't care about 60-yard bombs, right? Yeah, it looks good on a 11 o'clock Sports Center, but to me, it's still equivalent to if a guy runs a slant route and he catches it in stride and runs a 60-yard touchdown, and it's going to be the same amount of points as Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball down the field 60 yards for a touchdown. Guess what? It's all equal to 6 points. I don't understand or get why people are just so gung-ho and crazy about down the field bombs everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it. I don't understand this. That's not the deciding factor of you being an elite receiver because you can catch a 60-yard bomb. Who cares? Who freaking cares? Do you? Not me. I care about a team scoring at the end of the day. That's what matters to me. If you scored, if you put up the points that you needed to do to win the game, right? If you caught a pass that equate to a field goal to win the game, or you caught a touchdown, to win the game. That's what I care about. I don't care about down the field passes. I don't understand why is that the deciding factor of how you rate as a receiver as great. Come on, man. I don't get it. Hooded you, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says 225 watching, 136 likes. Smack the like button for TJ. And by the way, with Michael Thomas and Jarvis, and Olave every 2 plays you're going to hear moving them chain. Well, I hope so. It's going to be hard to stop all those guys. And if Jameis can distribute the ball and allow these guys to make plays, then look out. TJ, how would you rate Jeremy Shockey? Think he was a good tight end for the Saints. But he's always going to be the guy who is known for blowing the whistle on the bounty gate scandal. And because of that, people aren't going to look at him for his production and what he contributed to the Saints. People are going to just look at him as a rat, a stool pigeon. You know what I'm saying? A Benedict Arnold, if you will. That's what they're going to look at him as. But as far as a tight end, he was really good, talented. It's weird Miles get labeled as slant boy, but guys like Mike Evans can only run a fade route. I mean, look, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, who cares? Like, this man making plays. Like, I don't understand like where this comes from. Like, who cares? Like, how it like when did it become so important that a guy catches a 60-yard touchdown and takes the top off a defense? Like, why does that matter so much to folks? I don't get it. Like to me, when guys are talking about Michael Thomas like that, it just shows me like it's just this level of envy. It's this level of envy because they're saying these things like that's all he can do. I didn't play a lot of ball. I play a lot of basketball, football. When a guy's killing me or getting the best of me, rather he's shooting a shot close to the rim, you know what I'm saying, or catching a rebound, putting it right back up and putting it in when his teammate didn't score, and I'm looking like, man, all he is under the goal. Guess what? I'm saying this and I'm bringing it to his attention. It's because it's working. It's working. Like, it's working and it's getting on my nerves, and because I can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see what he's doing, but I can't stop it. So when people who are not fans of the New Orleans Saints say, oh, all he does is run slants, the only thing that they're saying is it's getting on my nerves because my favorite team cornerback, a free safety, can't stop it. And you know what I'm saying? It's nothing I can do about it, but I'm going to make you feel bad about it because it's not impressive. How is it not impressive if it's working, right? It's impressive. You're calling him this not because it's not working. It's because it's working. So why should we care, or why does it matter? Because teams only say these things about players when it's working, right? It's not a deciding factor of how great you are as a wide receiver. Because guess what? If all he can do is run slant routes, why isn't your favorite team stopping him? And then to me, I always say that the slant route to me is one of the most impressive routes you can run, because a cornerback has 5 yards to jam you at the line of scrimmage and knock you off your route. So you have to be an extremely aggressive wide receiver in order for you to win the hand fight when a guy is jamming you at the line of scrimmage and get separation from him in order for you to catch 5 yards. Slants, quick slants, out routes. Like, you have to be able to have really good hands and really strong to do it. So when people start talking to me and telling me about, oh man, he a slant boy, and they say stuff like all he does is run a slant, I know for a fact that they don't know a damn thing about football. They never lined up against anybody. Anybody ever played wide receiver at any time knows that a slant route is hard to play. A person jamming you at the line of scrimmage, those cornerbacks are really strong. Their job is to try to knock you off their route. So this guy's like jamming you at the line of scrimmage. And the only way, you know what I'm saying, you have to use your legs or use your hands to get separation within those 5 yards to catch the slant. If people understood how impressive it was for a wide receiver to catch a quick slant, then I don't think they would. I think that they will probably look at the term slant boy. They wouldn't look at it in a certain way anymore. 615 Random Ghost says, last I checked, the goal was to win. Who cares what route you run the most? As long as you put up the results, you can do whatever you want, point blank. I don't understand. I don't get it. Like I said, we fall in love with the flash and the pizzazz, and You know, and we see, I mean, we buy into the football propaganda, right? Tyreek Hill running the ball, you know what I'm saying, running down the field. Oh, he's so fast. He's so fast. His teammate caught a pass down the field and he ran up and caught him. He ran up behind him and caught him. Like, who cares? Like, yeah, Tyreek Hill's speed is extremely impressive. And him getting behind the defense, yes, you know what I'm saying, it's impressive as well. But God dog it, you know what I'm saying? Who cares? Like, that's not the deciding factor of who is the best wide receiver. Like, you have many wide receivers in years past who have been able to take the top off the defense, but would you put them in a category of being the best wide receiver in football? No, I wouldn't. I can name some really good deep threats that have come in the NFL, and that's all they ran, but they have not been in a conversation. Give me a wide receiver. Give me a wide receiver that can run all the routes. I say that all the time. Like, somebody asked me, they said, would you want to be a speedy receiver or would you want to be a possession receiver? I said, I would want to be a possession receiver. See, a speedy receiver, you take one hit on that knee, you take one hit on that ankle, you know what I'm saying? And it's never the same. Then all of a sudden you don't have that speed anymore. So how are you going to be able to make your money then? Right? You look at guys like Larry Fitzgerald, as he starts to get older, right? He was lined up on the outside. Then when he got older, he started to slow down. He was able to work in the slot because he was a really good route runner. Those guys last for a very long time. Those are the guys that get the gold jackets. Those are the guys that's one of the most well-respected wide receivers in the league. And not the guy that runs past everybody. Like, seriously. Like, who you think going to last in the league longer? Somebody with a skill set like Michael Thomas or a guy with a skill set like Tyreek Hill? Seriously. Like, take a look at it. Take a look in the realms of history. Who lasts the longest? It's the wide receiver who can run the routes. Not taking the top off the defense. Not, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, blowing past people, you know what I'm saying, bombs over Baghdad every 5 minutes, right? There's not many guys that can do that. Like, think about this: the Jerry Rices, the Tim Browns, the Chris Carters, right? Steve Smith Seniors, TOs, right? These guys, you know, were really good route runners. These guys weren't really known for having no speed, even though Jerry Rice could run a 4.3. It's still, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't really known for his speed. He was known for how fundamentally sound he was. His separation ability. You know what I'm saying? To get off the line of scrimmage. Like, those are the guys I love watching. Like, I don't care about, like, it's modern day stuff, man, because everybody is just about fast pace. It's about speed. Run. Get here. Get to point A, point B as fast as you possibly can. I mean, so they put these guys on pedestals, right? Those guys with the freakish speed. But to me, man, those aren't the guys that last long in the National Football League. Go take a look. I mean, name a wide receiver that ran a 4.2 that's in the Hall of Fame right now. You don't see them. Why? Because there aren't any. Old Mike T really leans into the slant boy narrative and use it against haters. Like, make a slant gesture after smoking fools for touchdowns and other routes. I don't think he cares, man. And how do you slant if you slant your way to 1,700 yards and 149 receptions, that's pretty doggone impressive. That's pretty doggone impressive to me. You almost got 2,000 yards worth of slants. That's impressive. Do you think Jameis Winston, if he stays with the Saints to finish out his career, can break some of Drew Brees' records? I mean, it's possible. I mean, the way the NFL is structured, he can. You know, I mean, the rules that apply to it. You know, he can play for a long time. I mean, if he turns a corner and he changes the narrative about his career, yeah, he can. I mean, it's not like, these rules are going anywhere. It's going to come a time when he probably ain't going to be able to touch the quarterback. Look at what Mike T was doing, getting doubled every play. Defenses won't have the option anymore. They about to eat. People have no idea what it means to be a wide receiver. Your ability to run clean routes, create separation, and be physical with your presence and hands is what makes you elite. Speed is just icing on the cake. That's because that's the narrative. Having a bunch of speed, taking the top off the defense because it equates to exciting football. So that's the reason why they glorify those speedy guys. But that don't mean that they're the best. John Taylor, Don Beebe. Yeah, John Taylor was a really good complimentary wide receiver for the 49ers, and Don Beebe, to me, was more like Wes Welker. And that's what we remind Wes Welker or one of your favorite slot receivers that's out here. You know, I'm saying Wes Welker not because they just so happen to be the same color, both of them white, but but no, I mean he was like one of the first real true like slot receiver guys. You know what I'm saying? Like it was him and Lofton. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys were out there. You know what I mean? They had some really good wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? In Buffalo, the K-gun offense, right? You know what I'm saying? The K-gun, man, they had a lot of teams out there, head on a swivel, right? They were really good offense. I mean, and then you also add Thurman Thomas' ability to run in between the tackles, catch the ball out of backfield. Was one of those unique type running backs that we see that are not so unique today. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Don Beebe was really good. Really good slot guy. And also he can get past you too. Like they are Jerry Rice or something. What about Desean Jackson? Yeah, Desean Jackson. Take the top, take the top off the defense. But I mean, think about this. I mean, Desean Jackson over the last 5 years. Tell me a game where Desean Jackson just took over. Where it didn't come for him to like take the top off the defense, right? That's why he's still in the league. Still in the league because he take the top off defense. Tay again Jr. just retired, about a year ago? He can still take the top off the defense. Like I said, you rarely see guys who reach a certain age, still got their speed, and still in the league. But when you have guys, because it's only a matter of time you're going to slow down, man. And you're going to be able to have to do something else. Those guys are anomalies because they were able to maintain and keep their speed over the course of time throughout their career. And they was able to continue to make money because they still had that speed. They still can run, right? They still can run like deer, run like the horse at the Kentucky Derby. But a lot of guys don't have that luxury. You got to be able to compensate somehow. You better become a better route runner if you're going to stay in the league after you in your 30s. You better be able to still, run some routes. TJ, I just made the point to my homeboy about Jerry Rice. It's like how kids only want to shoot threes in the league now instead of utilizing the mid-range, a higher quality shot. Yeah, I mean, it just happens over time. It's like it's just a bird. Like when I was growing up as a teenager, everybody on the court, used to take about 2-3 minutes, to shoot the doggone basketball. Why? Because the And One mixtape first came out. That one Hot Sauce and Skip to My Lou and all them boys. Everybody wanted to put the basketball in their shirt and spin that thing around and and throw it behind their back and catch it between their legs, right? It took these boys about 1 million years, to actually shoot the ball. Got so bad they actually put a shot clock. High schools didn't have shot clocks. They were putting shot clocks at high school games because people took so long to try to get to the rim. So, I mean, and then all of a sudden, everybody wanted to do the mid-range thing, because of D Wade and Kobe Bryant, and everybody wanted to drive to the lane, right? In the 2000 notch. Then all of a sudden, this light-skinned boy named Steph Curry came and he's shooting from his mama's house and he's shooting from North Dakota and he's shooting over here from New York City and then he's shooting over here in Florida. Now everybody, want to shoot half-court shots and, want to throw the ball behind their back and want to do a sky hook from the half-court and all this kind of stuff there. They, everybody want to be him. It just happens, man. It's just the evolution of the game. When, when I was in high school, it was about catching passes over people's head. It wasn't even about blowing past people. Because when I was in high school, Randy Moss was a young, up-and-coming wide receiver in the league. And he had them bunnies, right? He had that 40-inch vertical leap. And everybody was talking about getting Moss. And yeah, what everybody wanted to do. But guess what? You know what I'm saying? You know who my favorite receiver was at the time? It was Chris Carter. And Chris Carter was not the fastest person in the world. Where everybody was out there trying to blow the top off the defense like Randy and catch most passes, what was I doing? I was doing the same thing Chris Carter was doing, trying to catch passes on the sidelines. You know, them classic sideline passes where he had both his little tiptoes on the edge of the sidelines and trying to catch passes. That was me, right? You know what I'm saying? But it was about being fundamentally sound still. Then all of a sudden, you know, people start to get a little bored with the National Football League. The 3 yards in the cloud of dust and the dependent on a running game. It wasn't doing it for folk, right? They wanted these owners to get quarterbacks that could throw the ball out of the stadium, right? Then all of a sudden, a guy from Newport News, Virginia, named Michael Vick, who can not only throw the ball 80 yards, but he can run faster than your running back, right? It's the evolution of the game. And now we reached a point in time where everybody wants to take the top off the defense, and we idolize guys who can run 4.2s and 4.3s. That's the reason why the NFL Combine, everybody looking at the 40-yard dash. Everybody trying to see who ran the 4.2, who ran the 4.1. But let me ask y'all this today. Y'all, everybody knew who the guys were that was running the 4.2s and the 4.1s during the Combine. Somebody please ask me, somebody please answer this question right now. And you probably already know it because one of the guys on the team. But somebody give me the top 5 guys right now out your head, outside of Chris Olave, who ran a 4.2 at the Combine. Probably couldn't tell me. You know why? Because it doesn't really matter. What matters is these guys go out here and they are productive. You know, so I mean, nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. TJ, when you are gonna pitch the Michael Lewis story to Hollywood, could do better than Marky Mark playing the Eagles play. Mark Wahlberg, yeah, man. What was the man movie? Undisputed or something like that, or Undefeated or something, Unconquered. I don't know. It was a good movie though. I'm sitting here just still listening, laughing, spoken like a true old head. Laughing. We are we getting old, brother. Yeah, look, man, but it's true. Look, I feel like this, man. I'm fortunate, right? I feel like 80s babies are fortunate. I was born in 1986. I'll be 36 on tomorrow, right? I feel like I'm so fortunate because I'm part of that generation that I remember walking to the corner to use the phone for a quarter. I also remember when there no longer have been cell phones, and you know what I'm saying. I remember there were two-way pages, and I remember text messages. I remember the evolution of technology. And I can remember like when football wasn't as popular as it is right now. Football has always been popular, but I'm talking about like on another level. Like college football is on another level now. Basketball is on another level now. Even like soccer or football, you know. So for all my people that's listening across the pond who don't refer to it as soccer, you know, its popularity has grown. So I mean, you can kind of see the evolution. And also, you know, I have a distinct honor, you know what I'm saying, to really kind of understand how marketing works. You know what I'm saying? Like I do. Like I understand how marketing works. I understand what universal appeal actually means. And I understand that there are a lot of things that we actually care about that have been programmed inside of us to care about. And they become a big deal based on individuals telling us that we should make them feel like they are a big deal, you know? But in reality, I don't think that they're a big deal. I don't think 4.240s matter. And when it comes to like a player being successful in the league. TJ, I'll take a Chris route runner like Chris Olave or Ridley as opposed to a John Ross. Yeah, I mean, because John Ross wasn't really that good in the first place. John Ross was a big fish in a little pond. When he was in the Pac-12 at Washington, I mean, he was pretty doggone good, but he was just faster than everybody else. And no disrespect to the Pac-12, but if you ain't really playing big boy football out there, for the exception of Stanford, USC for a short period of time, but a lot of these guys in UCLA, you know what I'm saying, they play a little physical. But for the most part, man, these boys ain't known for having no good cornerback play out there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't known for having no big time cornerback play. John Ross was just a really fast guy, and like now you see him in the league, Yeah, I mean, he caught a pass when he was with the Giants on the Saints, but I ain't seen much out of him since. I think what he ran the fastest 40 in NFL history, and what did they give him? What did they get him? Percy Harvin was a speedy receiver. Yeah, Percy Harvin was really good. Not only was he a speedy receiver, but he's a hell of a kick return. He was a Swiss Army knife too, man, in his own right. It's unfortunate his career got cut short because he dealt with migraines. But man, when he was out there, man, he was something special to watch. He really was. But the thing about Percy Harvin, well, I feel like I think Percy Harvin could have been a Hall of Famer because Percy Harvin wasn't just fast. Percy Harvin can run routes too. You can line him up in your backfield. He can run the ball. You can line him up at wide receiver. You can line him up as a kick return. Yeah, he was special, man. D-Jack at Cal was special though. Yeah, he was. And like I said, that's another guy. I mean, speedy receiver, catch the ball out of backfield. I mean, but yeah, he was special. I mean, he deserved to be a first round draft pick. Just like John Ross at the time, like, coming out of Washington, he deserved to be a first round draft pick. And, I feel like Desean Jackson, he was special for the Eagles. I just think that he was just a real small guy and he had those injuries, and then he ended up having a concussion, and then Chip Kelly comes along. He ain't like nobody, If you ran a 4.2 40, Raiders will draft you. You ain't lying. Man, Raiders drafted Sebastian Janikowski in the first round. Even though Seabass, man, he was the best kicker I ever seen. He was at Florida State. But first round pick for a kicker. TJ, you remember Peerless Price? Yeah, Peerless Price from Tennessee, man. Peerless, never fearless Price. Yeah, got drafted, went to the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, man, talented guy. Yeah, I remember Peerless, never fearless. Man, Tennessee had a squad during that time, man. Them boys had a squad. Because I want to say, yeah, he was there. Then you had T. Martin as their quarterback. And them boys had a squad, man. My goodness. Then they had Big John Henderson out there, the 6'8" guy. Y'all, you probably seen his that famous video of him getting slapped all in the face by a trainer. Yeah, man, them boys had a squad. University of Tennessee. Yeah, right after Peyton Manning left. I want to say T. Martin. No, was it? Yeah, T. Martin was there. Won the national championship. Peerless Price. Yes, sir. I used to enjoy watching Tennessee, man. That one you can really sing Rocky Talk all night long because you had a reason to sing it. Now there ain't much singing going on in Rocky Top these days. If Trevor Penny act that way, he does defending a quarterback. Just imagine if he plays defense and had to go after one. Man, that would be something, right? OG Stoner. Kevin Dyson was a good wide receiver. Yeah, I like Kevin Dyson too. Kevin Dyson, very underrated wide receiver. Very underrated. He falls into that category. Were you more of a fan of Isaac Bruce or Torrey Holt? I was a fan of guys that be quiet and go sit on a bench. So I was an Isaac Bruce fan. I wasn't a really big celebration type guy. I used to kind of gravitate to the guys that were just about their business. Wasn't just out here trying to think about the next celebration they were gonna get when they score a touchdown. The main wide receiver I idolized was Marvin Harrison. Sat at the edge of the bench, tasted cakes after every game. Didn't want to really be bothered, just did his job. That was the type of guys I idolized. So I was more of an Isaac Bruce fan. I had nothing against Torrey Holt. I think he was talented. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But I was more of an Isaac Bruce type guy. Lamar Jackson should get his contract situation together. Is almost the teeth of hurricane season. Yeah, I agree with that. I assume the Jews talking right here, even though, the name isn't coming up. But yeah, he deserves to get paid. TJ, I was born in 73. These young will never know about playing in the streets till the lights come on and drinking water out the hose. Abuse you didn't want to go home early. Yeah, man. Look, I definitely remember those days, drinking out my grandmother's water hose, filling up a water jug in a house, putting it in a freezer, in the refrigerator, so we can have some cold water outside. I remember using one of my grandfather's work coolers. Coolers he used to use. My grandfather was a carpenter. He used to have like 3 and 4 little water coolers, and we used to fill it up full of ice and fill it up with water out the water hose and be drinking that water all day out them little small little styrofoam cups. That was fun, right? Um, I wouldn't take those memories. I would never have those memories taken from me. I will always remember those days, man. I always remember those days. It made you who you are, in my opinion. You learn so much, and you remember those times. You have an appreciation for that. But time goes on. Kids aren't really outside the way that we were. Yeah, because your mom and them couldn't really afford video games. Now it's like you got a phone, you got video games, right? Offensive coordinators call the plays. If you are a speedy receiver, they're going to play to your strengths, even if you are capable of running the route tree. That is true. And then another thing, back on these video games and being outside, you might have like one cousin or one friend who had a video game. He might show up by your house and it was a video game day. Shouts out to my cousin Robert Thomas, man, out there in I want to say in Shreveport now. Shouts out to him. I know he watched this show from time to time, but he used to always come through, man. And we used to. My grandparents used to stay on Montague Street, Montague and Tonti, and it was like you can stand in the middle of North Tonti and you can see like all the way down, like all the way down. And I remember my cousin Rob used to catch the Galvez bus and used to get off by the store called Jesse's, and you can actually see him walking down the street. And he used to have his backpack on. And in his backpack, he used to have the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis. And as he starts to get close, we started to get excited because we knew like he about to come through. He gonna play the game. And that was like the only type of time we actually had a video game. My grandfather and my grandmother, didn't really get video games from my uncles and stuff like that. So they ain't really have games, so we didn't really get a chance to play them. So going outside was the best thing going. You know what I'm saying? So, you used to enjoy going outside, man. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if it was too hot or it wasn't as hot as it once was. Maybe we just didn't care. But being a kid in those times, man, it was just amazing. It wasn't like they didn't have danger out there. New Orleans, it still was rough. But I don't know, man. It was just kids were just outside. You know what I'm saying? And you had your occasional fights and little touch-ups and stuff like that. But nobody was trying to kill nobody, around there. Nobody was really trying to physically hurt anybody. You might lose a fight. They might laugh at you for a day, and you'll go home disgusted. But the next day, nobody cared. That was an amazing time to grow up. I'm just being serious, man. I feel bad for these kids these days because you guys all type of weirdos and stuff like that out there now. TJ, off topic, them boys be sleeping on Grandmaster Sexay from the group Too Cool and Scotty Too Hottie and Rikishi. Man, look, good gimmick tag team. Rest in peace to Grandmaster, but yeah, they were, they were pretty hot in their time. TJ, I know you remember throwback. Is it throwback tackle? Yeah, man, we used to call it pitch up tackle. Yeah, I remember that, man. Throwing the ball up in there, catching the ball, somebody attack you. No helmet on, no knee pads. That made you who you are. That made you tough. Wasn't a receiver, but Bo Jackson ran the fastest 40 at the combine. I want to say, I don't know if they still acknowledging that. I don't know if it was non-documented or not, but yeah, technically he did. But on record is John Ross. On record is John Ross. I'm not saying that Bo Jackson didn't, but I'm just saying they don't recognize him as the fastest 40 time at the combine. It would be a huge relief when his contract is signed. Great pick six is Tracy Porter picking Peyton Manning off in the Super Bowl. Of course, it's the greatest play in Saints history, in my opinion. Let's not forget about us taking punter. What was this? Russell Erksbin in the first round. Hell, at least Seabass was good. Yeah, man. I mean, look, Sebastian Janikowski, one of the greatest kickers in college football history. Like, that dude was a freak of nature. I mean, but it did help when you 260 pounds. And not to mention he had a really good NFL career as well. Let's not forget about us taking, I already read that. TJ, add me to Xbox, my gamer tag, chosen Kingston would probably could game in your free time. Yeah, if I had, it was probably the most free time I ever had, and I had to be sick to get it. Now I got to get back to reality, right? Got to get back to reality. It's been great, man, of being able to spend time with my wife and my son and just sit around the house and stuff. But I mean, we kind of been doing our own little thing because, we don't want to be laying on top of each other, COVID out. But just to have them in my vicinity, man, it is amazing, man. My wife, man, she's just such an amazing person. I mean, the way that she just didn't feel good, man, she ain't never complained, not one time. Always, what I'm saying, had a good meal for your boy in Paxton. Just always show love, man. So, have an appreciation for that and just being at home, my family. I mean, it's been great. I thought I would have cabin fever, but I don't. And I haven't been out. I don't think I've been out since Sunday last week. Why would Sean Payton leave a team that is finally getting good on both sides of the ball? Good question. Who knows? TJ, what's the likelihood we keep only two quarterbacks to open up the spot or extra wide receiver? Real strong chance. I mean, you might start off with two. Might put Ian Book on a practice squad. Might end up doing that. I'm gonna add you chosen. I have a white Saint starter jacket as a throwback. Teammate mine of an Eric Martin guy over a Joe Horn guy. I'm the same way. Yeah, I'm not really too big on celebrations and stuff like that. I mean, look, if it's like I don't know, man. If your team down by a touchdown and you know what I'm saying, down by 3 points, you score a touchdown, scared to kick a field goal. I feel like, celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a great moment right there. I'm hyped. I'm turned up, right? I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm lit right now, right? But your team down by 3 touchdowns and you score a touchdown late during garbage time and you dancing. Why? Why? Like, why? My mama gonna see me dancing on TV, I guess. I don't get it. TJ, remember left hand Johnny? Left hand Johnny. Snag no better, bet down. Yeah, man. Left hand Johnny. Left hand Johnny, man, me, like if somebody is eating something or have something in their left hand, you call left hand Johnny, you got to give it to you. Black, can't get it back. Stuff like that. Yeah, I remember all that stuff, man. Left hand Johnny. Oh, man, I would like to see Abram Smith start on Saturday. He going to get some playing time. He should. Y'all should already know by now, if you ain't rolling with Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints, you're nothing. COVID Rona out. Yeah, man. I'm glad that I'm turning the corner and everybody else is too. It's a rubber donkey. Yes. TJ, the first kid in any neighborhood to cop an Atari 2600 instantly became the most popular. Everybody will find reasons to end up at his or her house. Pac-Man fever, baby. Yeah, man. Look, I remember people used to cut school. I mean, I went on an Atari kick, but Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I remember, sorry, Mom, cutting school at Colton one time and going to get a po' boy from Hank Seafood and hanging out with my boy Sam Wiley house. I ain't do it often, you know what I'm saying? I ain't want my mama to kill me. I had to keep them grades right. But yeah, man, everybody had like one of them ditch days before. Israel, and it wasn't okay, and it wasn't like in the middle of the school year. It's like towards the end when your mama send you to school and nobody really doing that, and the teacher really wants you to leave. They don't really want to be there. It's kind of like where you probably go outside and hoop, play basketball all day. You know what I'm saying? Or go by a friend house. Play video games or something. How Lante Taylor coming along? You doing fine, man. You doing fine. Mike 2019 last full stats 1,425 9 slant yards. This man went into the analytics. Leads NFL 80% catch percentage. Led NFL 583 yards after the catch. He led the NFL 42 yards 15 plus, led the NFL in receptions of 10 to 19 yards. Well, there you have it. And I'm shouts out to him going out there doing the research, man, because everybody not going to do that. They're going to take one narrative about him and run with it, brother. I remember how bad I felt last year. I don't like my Baltimore Ravens losing. I don't think no team, if you're a fan of them, you like to see them lose. I feel the same way. So hopefully both teams will find success this year. TJ, would you be surprised if CD gets a deal 4 years, 38 to 45 million? I believe the market for slot corners is around it. Nah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me, man. Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, man. Tecmo Bowl, Tecmo Super Bowl, all them games. Hey, TJ, Hanks had the spiciest seafood dog, but it was fire. Yeah, man. Hank seafood, man. Yeah, it was a while, man. I ain't eaten Hank seafood. One time, first off, if you ever order food from Hank's, they used to have delivery. You used to have to hope and pray that they show up at your house, right? And then one time when they showed up at the house, I ain't gonna lie to you, they had a mini cockroach and one of the po' boys. So we didn't eat at Hank's for like 4-5 years. They got under like new management and stuff like that. They painted the building. They made it like a big deal. Like, man, we got new management, and that's when it it started to kind of set off. But like Hank's in like 94, 95, nah, man. They was nasty there, man. For real, nasty. Like I said, because we used to order from them all the time. When we found that little small mini cockroach in that thing, I think it was in my sister po' boy. Mom like, oh, can't eat here no more. And the thing about it is, man, like most of those places, getting a hot po' boy used to mean a lot. Because if you used to use food stamps at some places in a deli, they didn't let you get hot sandwiches. They only let you get like cold sandwich. You only get like ham and only certain kind, like ham sandwiches and turkey breasts and stuff like that. Like you couldn't get like po' boys and all that kind of stuff, and they ain't let you do it with the food stamps. It's good to see you, brother. The Rona is not going to keep you down. Nah, man. Nah, we good over here, man. We've been vaccinated. We doing what we need to do. We've been staying inside, and we're just keeping it moving. TJ, would you drag your feet with CD's contract that could come back to bite the Saints? I don't think they should. I don't think they should, man. I think they should go ahead and pay the man. But I just think that the Saints are going to do what they feel is best for the team. What he did not lead the league in was slant receptions. That distinction actually went to DJ Moore. Look, like I said, let them talk, man. They can say whatever they want. What's the problem? The roaches were free. Well, you may like them on your sandwich as a delicacy, but not me. I don't want any rodent on my sandwich. TJ, how many candy ladies did you experience in your youth? Let's see. Shouts out to Miss Gladys. Out there, she was what was that? That was on Cluett and North Press Street. There's a corner store set at the corner. And you talking about two of the meanest people. And I'm sorry, I know they're both been passed on, went on in bright glory. But those two of the meanest people I ever met in my entire life. His wife, Miss Gladys, who the store was actually named after. Okay, so the store was connected to the house, right? So when you walk into the store, there's this big old cage, and it was a see-through cage, and you can actually see her or him sitting, like they had those little recliners, and they'd be watching TV, and they were like really, really mean. Like the man, Mr. Gladys, would be sitting there watching TV, and then finally, like when his stories or his television show comes to a commercial break, he'll stare at you for like 5-6 seconds, and then with a raspy, mean, aggressive voice, say, "What you want?" And like all of the candy and stuff like that was overpriced. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a part of the show where we start to wrap up and we start reminiscing. So if you're new to the podcast, I mean, this is kind of what we do. We talk football and we talk about the days of being in the city. But anyway, he was real mean, man, and all of the candy was overpriced. Like a pack of cookies was 85 cents. Keep in mind, this is like 92, 93. We're a 4 or 5-year-old kid. I mean, they were just so mean, man. His wife, uh, who was like really mean, she was bald headed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just saying this to be mean. She was literally bald headed. She used to wear these wigs, and she was mean. But then, you know what I'm saying, they both started to get a little sick. And that's when they started to get nice. I guess they had to square up with God because they knew they was gonna meet him, real soon. I mean, I'm just being real. And maybe they just feel like, man, we treated these people like crap, the neighborhood like crap all these years. Maybe it's time for us to start being nice. And that's when they started to be kind. Then you had Miss Jessie. Miss Jessie, her shop was a little bit further down Clewer Street, and her spot was also a nightclub at night. So you used to always have like the smell of cigarettes and stuff like that, because she always used to smoke, and she used to have like this little wooden contraption, right? And it used to goes up and down. It almost served that almost like a knocker where she can actually see you. Now she was real nice. Miss Jessica was real nice. You know what I'm saying? She probably was on the sauce a little bit around 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? She'll be even real little bit more nice and slide a little bit more candy for you. But she wasn't always open. And Miss Jessie, her husband, I don't know if her and her husband, like they kind of fell on hard times, so that store actually closed. Then you had Big Al, you know what I'm saying? Big Al was another candy lady. Then, you know what I'm saying, like that was down the street on Montague Street from my grandmother's house. She used to sell like frozen cups and all that kind of stuff. And she took a liking to my sister. You know what I'm saying? My sister, and my sister sometimes would go down there and, for a little while and help out. And because my sister, used to help out, used to get like, free little frozen cups and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I got, great stories, man, growing up as kids, man. But there was always a candy lady that was nearby, that sold that. But a funny story about Gladys store, the first people I told you about was real mean. And, I hope that they, said their prayers and got right with God, because Lord knows if they didn't, we know where they at. But they end up passing away, and then their daughter ended up having a garage sale, and I ended up like buying like all the candy, because I was maybe like 15 or 16, and I ended up like buying all the candy that they had, and for a short period of time, I took the candy and all that kind of stuff, and I had like a little makeshift sweet shop, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I say, if I was ever like to be a drug dealer, I'd be a terrible drug dealer, because I'd be getting high on my own supply. Because I got high on my own supply with the candy. I couldn't really sell no candy because I was too busy eating the candy and the gum and the chips, all that kind of stuff there, because I was a terrible candy man. But but I ended up buying like all the candy that was left. But those are some of like those stories back in the day, man. And also, it was during those times where you can trust people, man. Like today, man, you can't trust everybody. Like, would you trust your kid these days going to somebody's house? You know what I'm saying? Like, you too nervous, think somebody gonna slip something in your kid's stuff. Like, you can't do that these days. It was a real trust system, man. It was like a real trust system, like back in those days. Like now, man, you ain't about to send your kids to. You have to like really be real cool with them. It's like even with Halloween. It's like even with Halloween now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you don't even really trust your kids like to go out for Halloween candy. And if you do, man, you checking that thing like Santa Claus list. You making a list. You checking that thing twice. Man, I love listening to the part of the podcast when y'all reminiscing about New Orleans, my favorite city in the entire world. And I was only there for 3 days and nights. Yeah, I mean, it's a good city, man. It's a good city. Great history, man. The thing about New Orleans is, when people talk about New Orleans, people that's not from there, they talk about like the great monuments and some of the things that New Orleans is known for, like the Jazz Fest, like the Essence Fest, like Mardi Gras. If you from New Orleans, some of your greatest memories don't even involve those things. That's the crazy thing about it. Your memories involve being from your respected hood or your respected ward, wherever it may be, experiences maybe on a bus, experiences maybe at school. It don't really even apply to some of the most well-known mainstay activities that take place in New Orleans. And that's the most fascinating thing about it. That's the most fascinating thing about it, to be real with you. What state produces the best athletes? Florida, Texas, Virginia, Louisiana, California. I'm gonna say Louisiana, Texas, and Florida. You know what I'm saying? And then California, then Virginia. I'm gonna say Texas. You can say Texas is probably number one because of the size of it, but Louisiana and Florida, they no slouches. Stays playing cubic pies and wine candies, Jolly Rancher. Yeah, yeah, those were good moments right there. Facts, LOL. Who remembers wine candy, strawberry candy, and Chinese gum in those little orange wrappers? Aaron Nolan, West Bank Hood had the candy lady near school with those. Yeah, had then ice cream, man. Used to have them torpedo pops for a quarter. That's the only thing you can really afford. All the other candies with your favorite cartoon characters on there, that was a little bit too rich for your blood. TJ, were you a fan of Super Sunday? It seems to always be a fight towards the end. Look, I used to go out there, man. Shouts out to my cousin Darren, DJ. Y'all make sure y'all check out his clothing line. You got him customs, man. But he used to stay like right down the street from the lake, and me and him, like after we used to leave church, I used to always go by his house. Like we used to go by each other's house every Sunday. Most of the time, it was me going to his house more so than him going to mine. And he stayed off Franklin, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say Franklin in Mexico. So that was like right down the street from, if you know where that Save a Lot was, right across the street from the Kiefer UNO Lakefront Arena. So we used to ride his bikes down there. And it was just like a couple blocks down. I mean, we used to be all around that thing. Like we used to like go to the Walgreens that they used to have off Elysian Fields because it wasn't that far from his house. We used to go to UNO. We used to just kind of ride around UNO. We couldn't really get like where the mansions and stuff like that were by Lake, you know what I'm saying, Lakeshore was. We couldn't get over there. But we used to ride over there in that area. And every now and then, you know what I'm saying, we'll see like, famous people. Like we used to see Lil Wayne. He used to ride his little green Bentley and stuff like that. And we used to see him from time to time. But I didn't really take part in that, that much because, I mean, I don't know, man. It just, I guess because of the reputation that it had, we really kind of just stayed away from that. We used to ride past it, but we didn't really like take part in it. But I used to always be by the lake, always. We used to take those bikes and ride those bikes down that hill, and then go across the street and be looking at the water. I mean, it was some great times right there, man. Devin says Q93. Yeah, man. Q93 still a staple down in New Orleans. Shouts out to Wild Wayne, man. Shouts out to Wild Wayne. The man, a legend. TJ, can you believe Kiko Alonso signed a 1 day and just retired the next? No, I mean, look, if you don't got it, you don't have it. If it's not in you anymore, it's just not in you. I'm not mad at the guy for that. Like if you're not, if you feel like you ain't got it no more, you just ain't got it, man. And I ain't mad at him for that. Maybe he thought that he can go out there, give it a shot, and then he realized he won't be out there no more. Sometimes it takes that in order for you to realize it's out of your system. Take a few more, and then we're gonna get up out of here, man. Am I wrong for saying Jameis Winston is the greatest college quarterback of all times? And you ain't wrong for saying that, but I don't believe it. I don't think he was. Not to me. I'm gonna be real. I think the greatest college quarterback to me, and this may sound crazy, was Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow to me is one of like the greatest college quarterback of all time. I know we don't like the dude. I know he couldn't play on an NFL level, and people made fun of him. But man, that dude can play, man. Like he definitely, like to me, think he was the best. I mean, you got some other guys, you know what I'm saying? Like you can put up there, Vince Young, Vince Young. I ain't never seen a guy like Vince Young won a national championship game for Texas. Like literally won. This dude had 450 plus yards of total offense alone, like between him running and throwing. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. But I'm talking about like consistently, like starting off out the gate, like just out there just dominating, doing their thing. As soon as they became a starter, I gotta put Tim Tebow out there, man. For real. Like Florida has not been the same since Tim Tebow left. I'm looking at guys like that kind of. I'm talking about that when people start talking about great, I can't just say, oh, just based on skill set. I'm talking about change, like change the game. Like they left a mark where it just you gotta tell a story of college football. If you're gonna tell it, you gotta include them. You gotta include them. Vince Young, like I said, Vince Young, like how can you not put him in that conversation? 450 plus yards of total offense in the national championship, which I think is the greatest national championship game of all time. Texas versus USC. Another one of my other. This is what it is right here. These are my top 3 college football games of all time. Right? I'm in no particular order. I mentioned it, even though I'll say this one is number 1. Texas versus USC, 06, I want to say 05, 06 national championship game. Okay. That was like, it was just an embarrassment of talent how much between USC and Texas they had out there. Boise State versus Oklahoma, because Boise State was the underdog. Boise State was put in that position for that Fiesta Bowl because they wanted Oklahoma to slap around the small Minnie Mouse team. And because this was during a time where, the NCAA was getting pressure from, these other schools like, man, we going undefeated. Y'all need to start including us and all that kind of stuff there too, right? So they put Boise State in that game and they thought that Oklahoma were just going to run all over them. And then all of a sudden, Boise State with the Statue of Liberty play, Sobransky to Ian Johnson, you know what I'm saying? And for the 2-point conversion and them winning that Fiesta Bowl, that right there, to me, one of the greatest games of all time. Somebody mentioned this guy right here, one of my frat brothers, Tommy Frazier, Nebraska versus Florida, one of the biggest upsets in college football history. Danny Wolford winning a Heisman Trophy, going up against Tommy Frazier and the read option Nebraska Cornhuskers back in 1995. And then all of a sudden, Tommy Frazier, who had blood clots in his leg throughout his entire college career, took over the game, and they beat the brakes off the University of Florida. When I say beat the brakes, them boys beat the brakes off the University of Florida. Their game wasn't even close. That was one of my favorite games because I was rooting for the brother Tommy Frazier. Man, they had some really good college football games, but those games to me stood out because Boise State opened up doors for a lot of these schools to get opportunities to make money for their universities going to bigger games. And I don't care what anybody says. The reason why they have this committee now when it comes to college football is because they can keep these big power conference schools at the top and they can vote these guys in and they can just completely and continuously minimize these smaller schools so they can never get into the door again. That's just what it is. Like, think about this, man. You remember when they had the BCS system? When you had the BCS system, then you had to think about points, right? So it wasn't up to man, it was up to computers. So now, you had that 1 year when Georgia played Hawaii in the Sugar Bowl, and that was an embarrassment right there. They just blew them boys out map. And then you had a few stinkers, right? You had a few stinkers where teams didn't belong there. Hawaii didn't belong in the Sugar Bowl, but it was good to see teams that you didn't see. Because think about how good Boise State, how good they became in 07. After 07, when they had Zach Zabransky as their quarterback, man, that's when they started to get other players. You know what I'm saying? Titus, Titus Young, right? Titus Young, y'all know the wide receiver ended up playing for Detroit, but they end up getting first round and second round draft picks. And you start to see guys, actually going to the league like Orlando Scandrick. You start to see guys pick Boise State. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that I had with college football. Back in those times, I feel like if you would have kept a computerized system, then you would have been able to, like have these other teams to be able to grow. And I think that you would probably have an advantage. You know what I'm saying? These teams are having an advantage to be able to compete with some of these power conferences. Now you have like these major conferences. You got a lot of these major conferences now. They got these committees, and they're gonna keep these guys at the top. That's why you're gonna start seeing like SEC national championship games. You're gonna start seeing the same usual suspects playing on the biggest stage in the biggest game for the most money. And some of these other schools just gonna fall. I don't like that. But yeah, it's amazing to watch, man. It's amazing to watch. People tend to buy into the negative narratives where Jameis is concerned. Still, there are only about 8 people throw for 5,000 yards, and Jameis is the first and the only black man to do it. Well, look, here's the thing. Jameis Winston did achieve that feat, but at the same time, people are going to find reasons to ridicule this guy. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about Jameis, what he can do is he can go out here and change this narrative. He's still young enough. He's on a new team. He gets another opportunity. And nobody's like chomping at the bit. He is the guy. So if he goes out there and he plays well and he puts up big numbers and he goes out there and he handles up on his business, then hell, you know what I'm saying? Like, there you go. Then you have yourself a rags to riches story. I think that Jameis Winston is talented. We think that Jameis Winston is talented. Hell, the team that we love, their season depends on him being successful. But he has to put it together. He has to put it together, man. He has to. Wolfer won of Heisman in 96, Robin Warwick Dunn, not 95. Jared, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Why I said 95? Yeah, 95. Because what? Eddie George won it, right? Eddie George won it in 95, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was Eddie George, right? Did Eddie George win that in 95? Somebody help me out there. I know Eddie George won it like in between one of those times. But yes, okay. Lauren Phillip was a dude at Nebraska, complete workhorse. Yeah, he was a part of that national championship team. They ran that read option, man. I mean, I remember, man, because I used to like Nebraska. I used to like Scott Frost. You know what I'm saying? Scott Frost. Man, he used to run the heck out that option. I used to love watching Nebraska run that read option. I used to like that. The breaks beating off. Let's see. It strolled down a little bit. I'm a Southern LSU fan, and I can't recall rooting harder for a player not on my team the way that I did for Vince Young against SC that night. Yeah, look, I wasn't a USC fan. I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really like Texas. I didn't like neither one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like USC was too arrogant, which they had, man. It was justifiably so. Like, all that talent they had on that team. I mean, you had Lindell White, you had Matt Leinart, you had Reggie Bush, you had Dwayne Jarrett. I mean, man, them boys had Steve Smith out there. Not the, you know what I'm saying, other Steve Smith, but the other Steve Smith, the one that played for the Giants. Man, I mean, them boys had some guys, and not to mention, you know what I'm saying, a couple years before that, end up, you had you had Troy Polamalu, you know what I'm saying, a part of that tree. And man, them boys had some talent. And then you go to Texas. I mean, them boys had some talent. I mean, it was like almost everybody on there. I mean, Cedric Ellis, he was a part of that team, even though that talent didn't translate to the league, but he still was a part of that team. Texas, I mean, bruh, that whole national championship, it looked like they covered the first round in that year's NFL draft. Those guys were talented, man. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that ever again. Yeah, see, yep, Eddie George won in 95. Yeah. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. I know Eddie George won. I wasn't too sure. I thought like maybe it was 96, but yeah, you're definitely right about um, Danny Wolf. Lawrence Phillips was Adrian Peterson before Adrian Peterson. He was really good. He was really good, man. Brother just had too many demons, man. Had too many demons. Yeah, Brian Cushing. Yep. I mean, come on, man. I mean, y'all can keep naming them. Clay Matthews. You know. I mean, think about this. You had Clay Matthews and Brian Cushing on the same team. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, you had Troy Polamalu a couple of years before that. They had Carson Palmer. I'm just talking about like on that magical timeline where Pete Carroll was there. I mean, them boys it was like one lead, then another one coming. They don't miss a beat. It was man, like it wasn't the fact that they wasn't good. It was the fact, man, you just wanted them to lose. Like I remember when Brady Quinn, Notre Dame, took on like USC, and the classic Bush push when he pushed Matt Lyon into the end zone on the goal line. I remember I was like, man, oh man, come on, Brady. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Brady Quinn, Notre Dame beat them. They just couldn't do it, man. Because I want to say at the time, LSU was doing pretty well, and I think they may have lost a game, and I think that they ended up because man, who was that? They ended up. I think that was the same year they ended up playing Oklahoma. Yeah, I think they ended up playing Oklahoma and beating the hell out of Oklahoma in the national championship. But it was supposed to be Auburn in the national championship because that's when they had Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams. I know y'all remember that, man. Now I know we don't like Auburn if you're an LSU fan, but them boys deserved to be in the national championship that year. Them boy, and they beat the brakes. Was that Virginia Tech? Man, they beat the brakes. Oh, somebody in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, it wasn't even close. They got screwed. I don't know how Oklahoma ended up in that game. I don't know how they ended up in that game, but it was supposed to be Auburn in that game. And I think if Auburn would have played USC, it would have been a different story. And USC proved that Oklahoma shouldn't have even been in there. I mean, they destroyed them. Like beat the brakes. Glory days of EA Sports, NCAA football, that USC Texas era. Yeah. 6-year senior Jason White. Yeah, he won a Heisman though. Jason White won a Heisman though. Let me see. Yeah, Jason Campbell. Yep, Jason Campbell was the quarterback. He definitely was at that time. Yeah, Jason White. Yeah, Josh Heupel back in the day. When he won a Heisman. That's when they end up losing to LSU in the national championship game. That was a pretty close game. I think that was Nick Saban's first national championship when he won that. Oh, what am I? Let me see. Who? Nah, yeah, LSU did win that game. LSU did win it because that's when that was Nick Saban's first national championship game, right? Somebody help me out with that. I want to say that's who they beat. Because that game was like a real snooze fest. I don't even think they really scored that many points. As good as they were, the USC squad wasn't as good as the 99 Seminoles or the 01. Now, man, we've been talking football for a minute. We didn't got out to say we talking about college football now. But yeah, that's what you get for the state of the Saints. Don't know what you're going to get. But yeah, look, that 99 Seminole team, you're absolutely right. Really good football team. Peter Warrick, who was one of my favorite players of all time, number 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, dude was a beast. Chris Winkie. Sebastian Janikowski out there. I mean, yeah. Look, Florida State was just, I mean, them guys were unbelievable. That 01 Hurricanes team, yes. You know what I'm saying? Really talented. And then I want to say when they played the national championship game, I want to say they played against Ohio State. That was when Maurice Clarett was there. Ohio State ended up winning that game. It was an upset. But this was the same game where Willis McGahee, he tore everything he had in his knee. But them boys had some talent. I'm talking about, man, them boys had Ed Reed. Them boys had Andre Johnson. Them boys had Sean Taylor. Man, my goodness, Rags. I won't say Rags and riches. Them boys had an embarrassment of riches. Yes, they were some talented There were some talented guys, man. Sam Bradford, LOL. Look, Sam Bradford was talented. Devin, he was talented, man. In college, I don't even hate on that man. He deserved to be the first overall pick. Coming out of college, he was that good. In your opinion, TJ, best college team of all time? Best college team of all time? Best college team of all time. Man, that's a good one. I mean, it's hard for me to choose. Man. I mean, look, you gotta look at SMU back in the day. I know they paid for them boys, but who didn't? They were just a little fish in a big pond, and a big fish got mad because the little fish was eating. Craig James and Eric Dickerson. You know what I'm saying? Like the SMU teams were like really talented. They said it was the best team money can buy. Probably was. Any team like in the late 80s with the U, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Michael Irvin and you know what I'm saying? Like all those different guys, you know what I'm saying? When they were the bad boy team hanging out with Uncle Luke, you got to put them in there. Then we had Ohio State teams, you know what I'm saying? We had the Joey Galloways, you had Terry Glenns, you had the Eddie Georges. I mean, they had a little run. Then you had the Michigan Wolverines, right? All right. I mean, you had some guys, right? Charles Woodson. And you had some guys, Timbiaka Batuka. So it's hard for me to just say who the best college team was. They had some really good teams that really dominated. You know what I'm saying? But the team in a university that's dominated throughout like my lifetime, where I can be old enough to remember, is Alabama and USC. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We like LSU, but I mean LSU hasn't been continuously dominant, like Alabama and USC has, in their day. So, I mean, LSU 2019 team, I see Tim mentioned. Yeah, I mean, offensively, yeah, really good team. So it's hard for me to say who had the best college team of all time. I mean, they had some really good recruiting classes, and those guys ended up being really good players. So I can't just say, oh, this team was the best. A team that has been dominant over my lifetime. I mean, you got to say, and when I was like a young kid, Miami, Florida State. As I became a teenager, Alabama, USC. As I'm an adult, Alabama. So it's hard for me to say who though. Not too many running backs just straight up scary to tackle. Lawrence Phillips, Jerome Bettis, Cecil Collins, and Leonard Fournette were cats not too many dudes wanted problems with in the open field. Yeah, I mean, look, Leonard Fournette, I wouldn't even put in that category with them dudes. I'm not a Leonard Fournette fan. I'm not. The way that Leonard Fournette is now as a pro does not surprise me at all. I think that look, he's from the city, so people from New Orleans, they're gonna give him his respect. But I think he's lazy, and he always been lazy. Like I just think that he was always catered to, like from the recruiting of him and his brother going to LSU. I mean, him using the condition of going to LSU. One of the conditions was his brother actually going there with him. I ain't got no problem with that. Look, I hope your brother get an education. No, even though his brother wasn't that good. But there were games where Leonard Fournette, in the biggest moments, didn't step up, like against Alabama. Like that was a really big game. Alabama like shut him down. Like, and he didn't really play that game that hard. Then it was games where certain things were on the line. He'll sit down. Didn't want to play in a bowl game. If he felt any type of discomfort at all, he didn't play. And there's nothing wrong with that. I get why he was trying to get to the league and trying to take care of your family. I ain't got no problem with that. But you got to be careful, man, because sometimes will we actually see it, these guys on a college level, it can transition to the pros. And that's what I feel like is happening now. Now, you look at him now, like, look, as good as this dude was in high school and how big he was coming into the NFL, there's no reason in the world he shouldn't be like a top 10, top 5 running back. And maybe for the exception of that 1 year when they went to the AFC Championship game, did I ever just feel like he belonged in the National Football League. It just feels like to me like he just got money, happy he got money, and he just kind of phoned it in. So I don't like when I look at a guy like Jerome Bettis. Jerome Bettis played for the Rams, left the Rams, wanted to be a bell cow back. He wanted to be a respectable running back. Cecil Collins, guys ran really hard. You know, those are the guys that I got respect for, not the guys that got all the talent in the world and just phone it in. You know what I'm saying? Or play when they want to or whatever. I ain't down with that. TJ, what player do you think must prove themselves in this preseason? Zach Bowen, Traquan Smith, Callaway, Abram Smith, Devonta Zigbo, Tony Jones Jr., Kevin White, looking around there, Bradley Roby. Yeah, that's some guys, you know. Those some guys like right off the top of my head feel like got something to prove. Peyton Turner. I know you said TJ, but King, I think it's Tony Jones Jr. Yeah, Tony Jones Jr. definitely got something to prove. But I mean, he had a good preseason last year. If it's true, he came into Tampa camp as overweight as they reported, then yeah, the dude lazy, not motivated to be a great as he look. I ain't even talking about that. I'm not even talking. Look, I leave that to like Shannon Sharp and all them boys talking about. I ain't even talking about that. Like, dude, just like to me, I just never been a fan. Like, I don't know, man. It's just something about like him. I just never bought in. Like, I just never bought in. Like, some of the best games he had was against trash teams. Like going against Ole Miss. Ole Miss was trash. Like Auburn at that time, they didn't have a quarterback. They were trash. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like what did you do against Alabama? What did you do against Georgia? Like somebody pull up that stat line. He didn't do nothing. And I just felt like some games where LSU really needed him the most, he didn't step up. He didn't step up. He didn't take the team on his back. You look at a guy like Adrian Peterson. Like when you ever seen Adrian Peterson at Oklahoma phone it in? How many games did you see Adrian Peterson take over? How many college game breaks you seen Adrian Peterson running 60 yards up the field? You know what I'm saying? Like it was dominant. It didn't matter who he was playing. It didn't matter. Like it's just some guys that you see. It's just some guys that you see on the college level, you know for a fact they're going to end up being great in the pros. And you know why? It's because they got this unwilling desire, no matter if you're playing Fresno State or Florida State, no matter if you're playing Michigan or Miami or Ohio, you still going to go out there and give it your all. And this dude, to me, once again, any level of discomfort. Oh, my calf hurt. Oh, he out for 2 games. Oh, I'm thinking about the people in New Orleans. I ain't playing today. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I ran 60 yards, and then you come out at halftime and he didn't show the pass. And your team still got a couple touchdowns to seal the game. Like stuff like that, man, I just can't get down with. I'm not a fan. Never been a fan. And like I said, I don't look at this as a surprise that he has the career that he's having right now. Like to me, I think Leonard Fournette, I think he content. Like he just got this new contract with Tampa. I think he cool. I don't think dude motivated or he gonna come out here to be like, oh man, people, you know, saying that I'm overweight, they think I can't play. First off, you're tweeting about it and you're making fat jokes and stuff like that. That just shows you right there that, you know, you got thin skin right there, you know? So I'm just not a fan of people that don't want to work hard because there's so many other players that wish they had the talent and the skill set some of these guys have. And for these guys to just fall in love with the money to a point where they just don't care about their performance on the field or don't care about being great, I got a problem with that. 1996 draft, same draft that Alex Molden, cornerback Eddie George was still available. Coach Morris' son cried, we need cornerback help. So Saints passed on George to draft Molden. Well, look, I understand why they got Alex Molden, though. Alex Molden was really good in college. So I can't get mad at him for that. When he played at Oregon, he was good. He was really, really good. So I can't even get mad at them for making that decision. Fournette even reported to Cap out of shape. Look, I ain't even talking about that. I'm just saying, I just don't like lazy players. Fournette got his ring and his money. He don't care about anything else. Exactly. You know, you could tell a lot by a player. You know what I'm saying? When they, when you playing the Jets or you playing like some of these other teams, and when you playing some of the best NFL has to offer. Thanks for the heads up. A Sunday night at TJ at Big Q or the same adult beverage is a hell of a way to start the week. Well, I'm about to go ahead and pass the baton, hand it off to my boy Big Q, man. Y'all head over to the channel. But before you go ahead and hit that like button. Let everybody know you enjoyed the State of the Saints podcast. Also, check out the State of the Saints podcast previous episodes. They're available at iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Also, you can check out the State of the Saints podcast on our Facebook page, facebook.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. And I'll be with you this week, giving you all the up-to-date information about your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?